On this episode of MythBusters,
Amazing!
strap yourselves in for another duct tape stick-tacular.
Yeah, this will work.
I'm having a great time.
Adam and Jamie are stretched to the limit.
Wow.
And taken to the brink as they try to cross a chasm
Beautiful!
on a bridge made of duct tape.
All for the glory!
Meanwhile, Carrie, Grant, and Tori are hitting the road
Hey, what took you so long?
to find out if duct tape can keep a car from going to pieces.
The mad woman!
Then it's a race to the finish line
Last lap!
to see if the sticky stuff
We survived!
can stop a speeding car in its tracks. Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
It's scientific!
and Jamie Heineman.
I call it my little pop gun.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Joining them, Carrie Byron,
Explosives and electricity. Woo!
Tori Belleci,
We're popping popcorn with lasers.
and Grant Imahara. They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
That can only mean one thing.
Yes, it can. It means, backed by popular demand, it's time for the duct tape special number 2.
It was one of our most popular shows
I'm giving it all we got, Captain!
when the MythBusters paid homage to duct tape. Fans went into a frenzy
More duct tape!
Love it!
because you asked for it. They're putting more duct tape tales to the ultimate test.
Oh, it's for real.
First, they built a duct tape boat. This time, Adam and Jamie's duct tape challenge might land them in troubled waters.
That was a pretty cool boat. Gonna be hard to top it.
And yet, I feel we must try.
So what do you have in mind?
I see in my mind's eye a chasm, wide and deep, spanned only by duct tape,
A duct tape bridge.
that you and I can walk across.
Sounds dangerous.
Exactly.
A duct tape dinghy's one thing, but using duct tape to replace steel and stone? The tape's mythical adhesive and load-bearing capabilities are about to be stretched to the absolute limit. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
You know, before we decide on a final design, I think we should run duct tape through its paces in the shop downstairs. A series of bench tests, if you will.
Okay.
Look, obviously we're already pretty familiar with the awesome power of duct tape. But if we're gonna make a bridge out of this stuff that safely suspends us above a chasm, we're gonna have to determine a couple of things right up front. One, how much are we gonna need to support our body weight? Two, how are we gonna anchor the duct tape to the sides of that chasm? That's what we're about to test and figure out. So where do you want to begin?
What say we stretch out a single strand and see what it takes to break it?
Sounds good, let's do it.
Step 1, a single-strand strength test.
Today, the role of our strength testing device will be played by a digital force gauge. I will pull on the duct tape with this hook, and right here it'll tell me how many pounds of force it takes before it breaks. 10, 12, 13. This is killing me. I don't mean it's hurting, it's just the anticipation. 63. Oh! 67.3 pounds of force to break it.
Wow. That's more than I would have thought.
Me too.
They might be well acquainted with duct tape's awesome qualities, but it still has the power to surprise.
I didn't realize the duct tape was going to be that strong. That means that we could, in fact, build a bridge, in theory, with like 3 or 4 strips of duct tape and nothing else.
That little laugh means Jamie's already plotting to put that theory to the test.
I want to stretch 4 across and sit on it.
And sit on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
One strand snaps at 67 pounds, so 4 strands should hold a 180-pound Heineman, right?
You ready to sit on this?
I am. All right, go for it. Slow down, slow down.
So you're hanging.
I am. I would say I'm off the ground.
That's pretty stunning.
With a combined load-bearing capacity of more than 260 pounds, the 4 strands support Jamie. But they're drooping more than his mustache.
You're drooping like 6 feet over 30 feet. That's quite a bit.
Yep, it's supporting me, but I have to say 4 pieces of duct tape does not a bridge make.
We're now going to try a strand of 8 pieces of duct tape and see if we get less droop.
Will doubling the amount of tape have the droop factor?
You ready for sitting on 8 pieces?
I'm ready.
With Jamie sitting pretty on his perch, Adam runs a tape over the tape. And the news isn't good.
4 feet of droop instead of 5 feet of droop.
You would think that that doubling of the quantity of duct tape would, cut the amount of droop in half, but it didn't.
Hopes of a successful bridge are saggy until Adam hits on an idea. He lays 5 8-layer strands side by side, then weaves a little magic.
I'm trying to tease out some structural qualities in duct tape that will eventually yield for me, this is my goal, a bridge that I can actually walk on.
And it seems they might have finally found their footing.
It doesn't feel that bad. You want to try it? Whoop.
No, I can see.
With his weight distributed across all 5 strands, the extreme sag might be solved.
Yeah, it looks good. With handrails, you could walk right across this thing. And with 5 of those, you've got a good safety factor.
This stuff is amazing. You know, we might just be able to build a bridge out of this.
I think you're right.
Look, Ma, no hands.
All right, so last time we built a cannon out of duct tape. What are we doing this time?
So along with road flares, jumper cables, a device to smash out your windows, there's one more very important tool you should be carrying along in your car. Duct tape.
Yeah, sure. If you get into a minor fender bender, you could use it to hold things together till you get to the mechanic.
Exactly.
Now, I hate to ruin your party, but that's actually not a myth. It works. I mean, I've used duct tape to fix my car in the past.
Well, I think the myth lies in the extreme.
Just what are you getting at?
I have some plans for you guys.
Everyone knows a few strips of duct tape can mend a minor automotive mishap. But can it really cure the most extreme car catastrophe?
I have a plan. I'm going to tear apart a car and see if you can put it back together with duct tape.
Good plan.
Sounds like a challenge to me.
Oh, you don't even know.
Putting the car back together is only part of the challenge. It will also have to stay in one piece at top speed. And so yet another unfortunate automobile enters the driveway of doom.
All right, time to wreck this car. This little adventure is really going to put duct tape to the test. The boys are going to have to put this car back together after I destroy it. Now, they think it's going to be easy. I think they are underestimating my destructive powers.
To really test the tape, she wants that car in as many pieces as possible and has developed a disturbing appetite for destruction.
I love destroying cars, breaking glass, crunching metal. It's awesome.
As well as 1 or 2 anger management issues.
Right, that one was for the meter maid who gave me the ticket last week.
But when it comes to raising the roof, even Carrie's dark side is defeated.
Yeah, there's actually tools made for this. I think I have some friends that could help.
Cue a crew of San Fran's finest, ready and willing to help Carrie complete her deranged dismantling.
Just in time. That is awesome. What is that?
These are hydraulic cutting tools, and this is a cutter-spreader combination. These are cutters, and we're going to use them to cut apart the vehicle.
These tools are designed to quickly open up vehicles and free accident victims.
This makes my tools look silly.
Using hydraulic power, the blades bite down with more than 12,000 pounds of force.
I love it. Thank you guys so much. This is really going to ruin their day.
Great.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Grant and Tori have no idea what they're in for. It took me a sledgehammer, a crowbar, a grinder, a saw, and 4 big firemen to destroy this car. See what they can do with duct tape to put it back together. Boys!
Oh my God.
You went to town on this car.
It's a convertible now.
Here are your tools.
Crap.
Tori and Grant are left to pick up the pieces and mount a massive duct tape salvage operation.
That is an impressive amount of damage to this car. I mean, I've heard of duct tape being used to, like, you know, tape on a bumper or fix a windshield or you know, wrap a hose, but you know what? Not all at once.
They're in a sticky situation. Carrie's done her job real well.
Carrie has cut some key structural points to the car. Now, it is important that we get it back to that strength because let's face it, this is what's gonna hold the doors on, the roof on top, and keep the windshield in place. This is really where the duct tape is gonna have to prove itself.
Soon the air is filled with the sound of ripping duct tape and Carrie's thoughtful musings on the material.
Duct tape is essentially made of 3 layers. We have a vinyl layer on the outside that contributes to its waterproofing qualities, a fabric structure that gives it its core strength, and a natural rubber pressure-sensitive adhesive. Generally comes in black or silver and is about 1 7/8 inches. It's known as duct tape, but also it can be called duct tape, hurricane tape, gaffer's tape, 100-mile-an-hour tape, tank tape, and rigger's tape. To us, it's just part of the team.
And so far, this team member is holding up its end. Although replacing the windshield calls for some classic MythBusters problem solving.
Well, I found this piece from the fender. I think I'm just gonna tape it up till it's strong enough and then attach the windows to that.
Now, what are you gonna do though about the 2 separate pieces of glass?
Since Carrie busted out the windshield, I was thinking we could replace it by using the windows and the doors. What do you think?
Dude, that is so MacGyver. I love it.
The carved-up car is coming back to life, much to Carrie's surprise.
I can't believe how quickly you're getting this car together.
Just wait, we've made a few improvements.
Is that a window from the door?
Yep. Don't drive too fast.
With the rebuild complete, Carrie can't hide her admiration.
They took this car to another level. I mean, racing stripes, numbers, but by far, this is the most adorable feature right here. They taped a flashlight where they couldn't fix the headlight. This is so cute.
But now she'll try her darndest to wreck it all over again.
I'm going to drive this car to give the duct tape car a true test. Now, the guys, if they drove the car, would drive somewhat gingerly because they don't want to see their work fail. They don't want to see the doors fly off. I, on the other hand, do. I'm the wrecking ball in this situation, and I want to see things fly.
Carrie, Tori, and Grant's duct tape car fix is ready for the ultimate test.
Oh, sorry, I might have gotten a little carried away.
Hey now.
And so it's off to a place where the MythBusters have performed many crimes against inanity.
What took you so long? What we're gonna do now is set up a course here at the Alameda runway.
The challenge, 10 top speed laps of the Imahara Speedway.
Start, go through a little S-curve, around a turn, hairpin turn, and then through a bump, a bump, a bump, and then a really tight turn, and around back to the starting line. The idea here is to subject the car to as much stress as possible in the form of G-force.
While old Leadfoot Byron can't wait to get going, her passenger has 1 or 2 reservations.
I have total faith that this duct tape is gonna keep this car together as we drive over this obstacle course. What I do not have faith in is Carrie Byron's driving ability. This should be interesting to say the least.
Last time, duct tape was able to give a car a huge amount of hang time. But can it glue a moving vehicle?
All stations ready?
Carrie and Tori are about to find out.
This is Duct Tape Car on the Duct Tape Classic Grand Prix. Lap 1, go ahead. Okay, here we go. Car number 17 with Byron at the wheel into turn number 1, Le Mans.
Carrie drives as though the accelerator is duct taped to the floor.
Monica looking good. Now into turn number 3, Silverstone.
Through her crazy cornering, the car is subjected to tremendous G-force.
The boat, Indianapolis and back to the beginning.
But the tape seems to be holding it together,
None of our car has fallen apart yet.
which is more than can be said for Tori.
We're gonna die.
Okay, Okay, lap number 4. Go, 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 go. I gotta say right now, the car is looking perfect. That's 5 laps so far. You are looking great. Even your hood detail is still on.
Carrie's doing between 40 and 60 miles per hour in a car with no structural integrity. Everything, from the roof to the doors, is being held on only by tape.
One wheel in the air! Take it easy there, Carrie.
Last lap. And for the checkered flag. What do you think I would have? It's a duct tape classic.
What do you know? The duct tape car has stayed the course.
All right. That was 10 laps.
Woo! You know what? It actually made it.
We survived.
Hairpin turns, S-curves, bumps. I go over sandbags. I get air. Still, duct tape is holding up.
But that was on flat ground. Now it's time to take it to the next level. We're sending it off-road. And in addition, it looks like it's gonna rain.
Okay, let's go.
Maybe getting off the beaten track will bring this myth unstuck. Mad Maxine floors it.
Over there towards the brush. Yeah. Over that rock. Over the rock. Yeah.
And while duct tape's waterproofing qualities are legendary, Tori and Carrie's aren't.
Go through the water.
After several soggy minutes thumping and bumping, this duct tape myth suddenly stalls.
Car's dead.
Only on MythBusters. Everyone's worried about the duct tape, but the only thing that's busted is the engine. The tape hasn't budged.
The G-force alone should have torn that thing apart. But look at that. The hood ornament did not fall off.
I mean, look at this. It's pouring down rain. We put this car through hell, and it's still together. I mean, the duct tape is amazing.
I gotta say, I think we're gonna have to call this one confirmed.
Absolutely confirmed.
Totally confirmed.
Jamie and Adam have worked out the amount of duct tape they'll need to build a bridge. But before they decide on a design, they need to know exactly what space they'll be spanning.
This is our chasm, 108 feet from this wall to that wall. It is this distance that we have to span.
This 50-foot drop last featured in the Seesaw Saga, when it became the launching pad for a little girl. After sizing up the gulp-inducing gap,
Inside is 104 and 2 inches.
Awesome.
they return to base with a plan to span.
All right. How do you want to do this thing?
Well, I figured this is basically a rope bridge, so let's make a bunch of rope out of duct tape.
Okay, I can see that. Like, we make a bunch of ropey strands. We could bind a bunch of them together to make the floor, and then, you know, another couple of probably thick strands for a railing. That would actually be pretty stable.
And then we can have some big ones along the side that are stretched taut to make it stable.
No other bridge spells drama quite like a rope bridge. Somehow, they manage to be amazing engineering feats and flimsy high-wire hazards all at once. Can Adam and Jamie really get the drop on a duct tape version? The small-scale test showed just 5 strands of duct tape, 8 layers thick, can support their weight without major droop. But just to be safe, they'll make their walkway 10 layers thick. Adam's anxious to speed up the taping process.
I'm about to construct what I hope will be the ultimate automatic duct taping machine.
Look out, Adam's just itching to invent. Step 1, some cylinders which fit together, Russian doll style.
All right.
Attached to a metal strut,
Okay.
which is welded to a support frame.
This is looking great.
Just add duct tape, and behold the Duct-O-Matic, dispensing 10 strands simultaneously.
Wow. Maybe it's a new kind of duct tape cable. Honestly, at this point, I trust my life to that. I can't wait to show this to Jamie. He's gonna be like, oh, it's a little over elaborate. Don't you think? Hey, check it out. My 10-roll single-pull duct tape cable maker.
Now, that seems to work. I mean, a lot of different ways you could do it, but 6 of one, half a dozen the other, huh?
Yeah.
With Adam basking in Jamie's effusive admiration, they measure out the required distance
Okay, that's 104 feet to right here.
and get down to some serious bridge building, starting with the floor.
It's like we're making the world's biggest sweater. Yeah! Woo! Huh, hold on, slow down. That's a workout. Yeah!
That's number 5. Let's bind them together.
Those 5 strands, each one 10 layers thick, are stuck together to form a narrow walkway.
We're going to use a veritable river of tape right along the floor in this area, and that, along with the other kind of supporting structures, we should have something that's reasonably stable.
It may not look like much, but it might just save my life. Not knowing is the best part.
Next, Jamie produces a pair of handrails with a twist.
Perfect.
The rope-like cable should give them a good grip.
I like the way that it seems kind of nice to hold on to.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That's 10 strands.
With the walkway, handrails, and stabilizing rails complete, they're all set. That's the great thing about a duct tape bridge. It's so portable. Just fold and roll.
That's not bad. Shall we go build a bridge with it?
I think so.
Okay.
It's the MythBusters' second duct tape special.
All right, Carrie, why do you look so happy?
Because I love the next duct tape myth.
And what is that?
Well, this was sent in by tons of viewers. It's that you can stop a car using only duct tape.
What?
Well, the beauty of this is there's 2 parts of this myth. The first one is based on a practical joke, that you can duct tape a car to a telephone pole and it won't go anywhere.
Technically not stopping a car, but actually preventing it from moving.
Well, technically, but the second part of this is definitely stopping a car. It's that you can use 1 roll of duct tape, build a barrier, and catch a car going 60 miles an hour.
Now that one I like.
Right?
Right.
The first part of this myth is a prank par excellence. A devious dude duct tapes his friend's car to a pole. The victim steps on the gas, but can't escape the grip of the tape.
We all know if we use enough duct tape, you can pretty much stick anything to a pole. I think the whole point of this is see how we can keep the car stationary with the least amount of duct tape.
All they need for this one is a car and a convenient pole.
We're not supposed to destroy this one.
That is the last time we carpool together.
Thanks to Adam's earlier test, the team already knows the breaking point of a single strand of tape.
67.3 pounds of force to break it.
All they have to do is determine the car's pulling power and work out how much tape it'll take to counter that force.
So what we're gonna do is get the force meter, strap it to the car, and attach it to the pole. Then Grant's gonna drive forward. At the point it stops moving forward, that is how much force this car pulls with. Okay, that's 1,300 pounds. It maxed at 1,300.
Let's do the math. The car pulls 1,300 pounds. 1 strand of duct tape breaks at 67 pounds. So, in theory, wrapping the car 20 times should be just enough to stop it driving away.
I say we just go for 20 and see if it'll work.
You know, I think this duct tape might actually stop this car.
Tori and Carrie play a prank. For science, you understand.
Hey, you kids, what are you doing to my car?
I have the sneaking suspicion that there are going to be prankster victims everywhere that are going to be blaming MythBusters for this myth being true.
And so we say, in the vain hope of pranksters paying the slightest attention, please don't try this at home.
What's this?
In case pole falls on your head.
Okay, Grant, time to rev up this myth.
Oh!
Wow. 100 RPM.
It's
2,000.
We're getting
There's
a few
one.
brakes there, but it's actually holding the car in place. For it! We stopped the car with duct tape.
Yes! talk about this.
I think he set the tires on fire.
I think it's confirmed.
Just 5 rolls of tape were enough to keep the car in its pole position.
One strand broke. That was it.
Look at that.
I cannot believe this myth is confirmed.
Confirmed! Woo! Yeah, confirmed!
Adam and Jamie are rolling out their duct tape bridge, and the enormity of the challenge is hitting home.
When we were laying out our bridge at M5, I was thinking, looking at that distance, it doesn't look that bad. But I come out here and I stand here and I look at this span and think that we'll be stepping out onto this void on a bridge made of duct tape, and all of a sudden it looks really, really far.
And the bridge is looking really, really flimsy.
These 5 strips of duct tape are our bridge. We've got our walkway, we've got 2 handrails and 2 stabilizing rails. Why are we hooking them up to these trucks? Well, we think this stuff is going to stretch, and if it stretches, it droops, and we can't have that. So we're going to pre-assemble it up here on the trucks and pre-stretch it before we put it across the span.
They'll attach the walkway, handrails, and stabilizing ropes to heavy-duty steel anchor points. When it comes time to walk, those frames will anchor either end of the bridge and help keep the duct tape under tension. Pre-stretching the duct tape should prevent any sudden sag. With the bridge suspended between the pickups, Adam and Jamie go through their pre-walk stretching routine.
I think this is going to work!
Hoping to take all the elasticity out of the duct tape before they venture out over a 50-foot drop.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull this as hard as I can.
As he pulls taut the tape, Adam ponders life as the yin to Jamie's yang.
People always wonder what it's like for me and Jamie to work together, and this is actually a really good example. You can see us both working on the bridge. We're not talking to each other. We actually haven't had very much of a discussion at all about what we're supposed to do, but we understand really clearly internally, and we understand the other understands really clearly internally what is to be done, and we're just doing it.
Getting harder to pull?
Yep.
Good.
While Adam's been waxing lyrical, Jamie's spotted a slight problem.
Pre-stretching this bridge is turning out to be a little trickier than we thought. The different components are stretching at different rates under different loads. We're just going to do the best we can and hope that it works. All right. Oh.
When they take their first few practice steps,
That's kind of how you used to go to grade school, right?
Oh, I'm going to do that.
it's immediately clear they're going to need more tape.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think we do want to add in some stringers between these things and the floor. Because you could be all like, whoa, dude, whoa, yeah, see, whoa. This is going to be terrifying.
Duct tape cross struts between the walkway and handrails will minimize wobble. And with those last-minute structural improvements, the bridge is ready to go.
196 rolls of duct tape, almost 400 pounds of the stuff, and our bridge is pretty much ready to string across the chasm. Now, I've marked the midpoint here because, in my opinion, it's once we pass this point that I think we're home free. See, this point, being the farthest from both ends, is actually where this bridge could cause us the most trouble. It could possibly turn turtle and flip us over when we get here.
Getting the pre-assembled bridge across the chasm is a feat in itself. They lower one end into the dry dock, haul it 100 feet to the other side, then use some heavy machinery to do some heavy lifting, all without damaging the duct tape.
It's one thing to see it on the ground, quite another watching it go up across a chasm. Not many people know that Jamie has actually performed surgery with a forklift.
With the anchor points locked down,
It's beautiful!
Adam and Jamie finally bridge the gap between duct tape fantasy and duct tape reality.
You know what that is, my friend?
That's a bridge.
That is a bridge.
It's always a good day for us when we're able to use tools and materials in ways for which they were never intended. And a duct tape bridge, well, I dare say the guy that invented this stuff had no intent whatsoever to use it to make bridges with. Will it work? There's only one way to find out.
Just 5 rolls of duct tape can keep a car parked. Now, Grant, Tori, and Carrie want to supersize this automotive myth.
How crazy is this myth that you can catch a car using a single roll of duct tape?
Yeah, that does seem a little ridiculous. But I mean, you saw how well it held the car together when you were driving around like a maniac. Maybe we just wrap it around 2 telephone poles.
Versus a car going 60? Well, I have seen crazier things on this show. Let's do it.
This one's straight out of the file marked, what the? According to some fans, a single roll of duct tape can be used as a roadblock to stop a careering car. Tori, Carrie, and Grant are on the road again. Telephone poles are few and far between out here, so they'll use something a little more concrete.
We're setting up K-rail in an arrow formation. This is going to serve 2 purposes. 1, it's going to hold our single roll of duct tape car catcher, as well as serve as a barrier for anything that may go out of control.
The tape is wound round half-inch thick steel rods, forming a single strand 5 layers thick. And at this point, this fan fable doesn't just look dubious, it looks patently ridiculous. And then some.
Duct tape can do a lot of things, but stopping a car at 60 miles an hour with 1 roll, I seriously doubt it.
Ready to put your life on the line for science?
Oh, I'm ready. Do we really need helmets, though?
Yes, I'm gonna go watch from a safe place. Okay, I'm ready. Are you in position?
Stand by.
Okay, this is single roll of duct tape. On your go.
Okay, here we go.
Tori hits the gas. The car hits the duct tape. And the myth hits the macadam.
Okay, so maybe you didn't need the helmets.
I didn't even get up to 60 miles an hour. That was like 40. Oh, well. I can't believe it broke.
We couldn't stop a car with a single roll of duct tape.
All right, well, let's do what we do on this show and supersize it.
Yeah, but I mean, we could build a wall 10 feet thick with duct tape, and that should stop a car. I mean, where do we draw the line?
Well, that's kind of totally impractical. Let's see what we could do in a day. I mean, maybe 100 rolls of duct tape.
All right, sounds great.
So this is how we're gonna do it. We have 2 pipes on either side here, and we're gonna wrap the duct tape around it until it's thick enough to the point where we think it's gonna stop the car.
We're crisscrossing the fibers like this, so they can stretch in any direction, have a little bit of give, and not just shatter when the car hits it. It'll stretch a little bit, holding on to the car.
Back at Alameda, they've got a solid wall 3 inches thick, made from 100 rolls of duct tape.
Now that is 1 thick wall of duct tape.
No one's willing to drive into this duct tape barrier, so they've got a plan.
Now, in order to get the car to hit the barrier, we're gonna tow it. And Tori's made a tow bar that's gonna keep the car going in exactly the direction we want it to go. Now, at the bottom of the wall, right dead center, is a steel plate, and connected to that plate is a pulley. The tow cable is gonna go through that pulley, so that as we tow the car towards the barrier, it's gonna wanna center right on that pulley and aim right for the wall.
And just in case the cable comes loose, the car goes AWOL.
Ah, how I've missed you so.
Grant's brought along an old friend.
What this radio is doing is sending a signal to a receiver on the roof. The receiver on the roof controls a solenoid valve down here. The solenoid valve provides air to this cylinder. Now, when I turn this off, it actually takes the foot off the brake and allows the car to roll. When I go to safe, it deploys the brake automatically and the car stops.
With the car under Grant's control, they're good to go.
I've got the car right here, it's running, the brakes are on. All I need to do is flip this switch and it disengages the brakes and it's ready to go.
And at that point, the tow vehicle will hit the accelerator, pulling that car down the track through the pulley system, headed straight for our wall of duct tape.
Brakes
All right,
off.
here we go, Carrie.
Brake is off.
Ease into it in 3, 2,
1.
go. Here it comes.
The pickup picks up speed. 60 miles per hour. The test car hurtles towards a date with duct tape destiny. But at the last second, the experiment hits a bit of a snag. Somehow, the car hit everything except the wall of duct tape. What happened?
I thought I saw the tow cable slip off of the guide bar, but it was just a car length before the K-rails.
The cable came free so late, Grant didn't even have time to hit the brakes. But there is some good news. The duct tape barrier's undamaged.
Failure is always an option. That's what it says on all our t-shirts and our hats. So we are gonna go back, we're gonna take this failure, figure out how to fix it, and we're gonna try it again, because we are not giving up here.
Carrie, Tori, and Grant want to see if a duct tape super barrier can stop a speeding car. But on their first attempt, failure was the option.
We lost the connection between our tow vehicle and this vehicle, and it veered to the right and crashed.
Now what we're gonna do is just put a rope clip on there so it's not gonna come off, and we've moved our breakaway line up to the tow vehicle itself. So if anything gets caught in the pulley, that breakaway cable will break away and everybody will be safe.
They're not about to let rain dampen their quest for duct tape data.
Here we go.
The test car is soon taxiing down the runway, with Tori and Grant in hot pursuit.
Got it, it's got it, it's got it! Woohoo! That was awesome! Yeah!
Once again, the car caught the K-rail, but it also wiped out the duct tape wall, didn't it?
So it looks like the duct tape wall wasn't strong enough to stop the car.
Dude, check it.
Oh no! The wall is still together.
I think we've got a problem.
It just broke away from the K-rail.
You know what? I think we better take a look at the high speed and see what happened.
All right. The duct tape wall stayed intact and it ripped it out of the K-rail.
I can't believe that. I mean, that's a huge amount of shock that absorbed right there.
While the guys are absorbing the shock of another failed test, the fact that the wall's still in one piece after being hit by the car means this myth has a definite whiff of plausibility.
And the duct tape wall, it's still laughing at us. It's still completely intact. It's got a few scratches, but I feel like if we hook this thing up again, it would be ready to go.
We're about to find out if Jamie and Adam can walk the walk on the world's most unusual bridge.
We have spanned a 100-foot chasm with nothing but duct tape. Soon, we will take that long walk into duct tape history.
And just in case that walk becomes a plunge, a crane-mounted safety rig will turn them into human piñatas.
Yeah, this will
But
work.
I'm having a great time. Whoa! Here's the thing about the safety system. I know that this yo-yo fall arrestor will save my life, but if this bridge should fail and it has to save my life, I'm gonna be swinging, I'm gonna fall and get pulled up short. Either way, it's gonna be terrifying and it's going to hurt. It's not just pride that makes me not want this bridge to fail.
Our small-scale tests say it should hold. We've done the math. Everything should be fine, but it's duct tape. What are you going to do?
Well, we're going to have paramedics on standby for a start, just in case. The guys will take it in turns to make the crossing. Adam's a little lighter than Jamie, so he's going first. It'll be less stress on the tape.
Just remember, if you hear a ripping sound, run really fast for the other side.
Thanks for nothing.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Here we go. Nearly 200 rolls of duct tape, a 50-foot drop, and one 175-pound MythBuster.
All for the glory. All right. Here we go. Oh. Oh. Hey, I don't mind saying I'm kind of freaked out. Oh. All right, it feels pretty solid and it's not hard for me to stay upright. The handles are working just great. My heart's beating about 175 times a minute though. Whoa. People walk on bridges like this every day? This is terrifying!
Nearing the middle of the bridge, he enters the real danger zone. This is where the duct tape's most likely to fail and flip Adam into thin air.
I'm passing halfway. So, I've passed the danger of turtling. Oh, dude, this is rough.
You got about 10 feet to go.
Oh, now it feels much more stable. Now I feel okay.
2.5 minutes after starting out, Adam sets foot on solid ground.
Hey, good to see you. Oh, land feels good. Good land, good solid ground.
It's another world first. He's just crossed a 100-foot chasm on a bridge made of duct tape.
The thing that you should understand is that, if anything, what I just went through was more intense than I might have made it seem. I know that I'm not going to die, but that is a cold comfort when you're hanging out 50 feet over concrete on a bridge you made out of tape. I wouldn't have called this, but I actually felt quite stable out at the center and for the first 15 or 20 feet. But the first third and the last third were really the roughest patch, where the thing moves around a lot more than feels good. All right, your turn.
Jamie steadies himself to make the return journey.
Adam found it terrifying. I'm going to find it a lot worse than terrifying because I really don't like heights.
His slightly heavier frame will put added stress on the duct tape.
Oh, gosh. Here we go.
And as soon as he puts his best foot forward, it's clear this won't be a smooth crossing.
Now I know what it feels like to be a spider. Or maybe, is it a bug in a spider web? That really is quite hairy.
A third of the way across, and Jamie's struggling to maintain his balance.
This wiggling around is kind of something I don't want to be doing. Whoa.
Honestly, I'm not sure he's gonna make it.
Both Jamie and the bridge are teetering on the brink of failure.
Oh, there's more ripped tape.
Tori, Grant, and Carrie are hoping it'll be third time lucky for their duct tape roadblock. It's the same setup with 1 or 2 heavy-duty add-ons.
We have shackles rated at 30,000 pounds connecting our duct tape barrier to our K-rails. This should do the job.
With Tori's tow bar and Grant's RC braking system good to go, car number 3's ready for takeoff. Carrie's confident that the duct tape will be able to halt 3,500 pounds of hurtling metal.
The cool thing about duct tape is that it's not only extremely strong, but it has a lot of elasticity. Now, I think that's the key right there. That's what's going to stop the car, is that it not just stops it, but it slows it down and then stops it.
All right, this is the final experiment for duct tape car catcher. Carrie, you ready?
Ready.
All right, Grant, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, brake is off. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, hit it.
Good, got a good start. Just getting up good speed.
20.
Carrie picks up the pace.
Looking great. Right on target.
Good, really good.
40.
Oh, we're gonna do it this time, dude.
This is it.
Bullseye! The car hit the duct tape dead on.
Yeah! That was worth all that suffering.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
Yeah,
That
broke
is-
right through.
What would you say? 3 inches? 2.5 inches of duct tape?
Easily.
Oh, that's 3 inches for sure.
But the duct tape didn't give up without a fight. Despite being hit with a force totaling nearly 300,000 foot-pounds, the barrier still stretched like a piece of elastic before finally snapping.
The wall stretched 4 to 6 feet before it gave up, just like it's supposed to. All that time, absorbing energy. Still an amazing product, but nope, not able to stop a car.
Now we know duct tape is strong enough to fix a car, it's strong enough to lift a car, it's even strong enough to trap a car. But here's one thing that duct tape was not able to do, and that is stop a fast-moving car.
Now, sure, we could have made one that was 2 feet thick, but let's face it, we bust up the K-rail, and that stuff is made to stop cars.
Looks like this one's busted.
We found something duct tape finally can't do.
Man.
We got enough duct tape left over to fix that thing.
Meanwhile, Jamie's trapped in a nightmare. He's finding out the hard way that one of duct tape's main features, its elasticity, isn't so great when you're 50 feet off the ground. Every movement triggers more vibration. It's taking all his strength just to stay upright.
I'm gonna sit here and rest a second.
Okay.
Despite pre-stretching, the tape's losing tension. And he hasn't even made it to the perilous midpoint.
Bang, you passed the halfway point.
Is that all? It feels like I've been going for a mile. I don't mind saying I'm hyperventilating.
The bridge is so unstable, he must inch his way to safety. It's taken him 4 times longer than Adam, but Jamie finally makes it back to terra firma.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are made of brass. James Heineman, congratulations!
That is absolutely awful.
That's really saying something, given the other fears he's faced in the name of myth busting.
I've been buried alive. I've been charged by great white sharks. This thing here is terrifying in a totally different way. It's not so bad walking across something like this, just like going over the heights with it. The problem is that you're just on the verge when you get out a little ways out into it of like losing balance. It's like there's nothing solid to hold on to. So, you know, walking across it is this constant, intense correction to try and dampen out the wiggly waves that you're setting up on these ropes.
Viewing both walks, it's clear Adam was on a much firmer footing.
So why was the bridge so wobbly for me? Could be me, could be the material though. We do know that it stretches out quite a bit under a load, and Adam did in fact put a load on it. One way or another, it worked, but it's not an ideal material for a bridge.
I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with this stuff. It's a bridge, it's a rope, it can shoot, it can float. Just 2 sides and infinite possibilities. Verdict. Is there anything duct tape can't do?
2 episodes and counting, almost nothing.
Well, you know we're far from finished. We're going to find crazier crap to do with this stuff.
Yeah, but that's another episode. Let's go.
All right.
I think we need to get airborne with this stuff.
Absolutely.
On this sticky episode of MythBusters,
Relax. This one hurt a bit.
the team tackle a trio of duct tape tall tales.
Fun for the whole family.
First, Adam and Jamie strength test the mythical material in car lift.
Why, you ask? Because secretly you've always wondered, and that's why we're here.
Then they ask, can it keep your boat afloat?
Going in.
One that's already sinking,
I think we're gonna need some help from the camera crew.
and one made of nothing but the tacky tape.
You can keep your duct tape prom tucks. We got a boat!
Meanwhile, Carrie, Grant, and Tori
Say hello to our little friend!
find out if it can stretch to sticking a cannon together.
Run!
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
and Jamie Heineman.
Bye-bye.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Joining them, Carrie Byron,
Look, Ma, no hands!
Grant Imahara, and Tori Belleci.
We're popping popcorn with lasers.
They don't just tell the myths,
Here comes chaos.
they put them to the test.
got there?
This is pretty cool. It is a wallet made entirely out of duct tape. You know, I was thinking we could do an entire segment on duct tape.
A segment? We could do a whole episode. Heck, we could do a whole season on the mythical properties of duct tape.
You know, you're right. Let's do a whole hour on duct tape.
Okay.
Recognize this? A roll of tape, and that's just the beginning.
Duct tape, supple vinyl, adhesive strength, and fabric reinforcement means its versatility knows no bounds,
One short strip secures tons of coiled steel.
which has led to some wild, weird, and wacky mythical claims.
What's the plan?
Well, I'm thinking that the mythical properties of duct tape generally fall into two categories. One is strength, i.e. its tensile strength and its adhesion. And the other is that it's so versatile you can do anything at all with it. I say we start by testing its strength.
You mean like lifting a car with it?
Perfect.
Let's go.
Hold on, before we jump right to that, why don't we do some discrete strength tests just to find out what we're in for.
So before stretching our miracle mythical material to its car-lifting limits,
Let's start up the crane.
the guys are going to start with a smaller force.
Many people say about duct tape that, well, it's like the Force. It's got a light side and a dark side, and it binds the whole universe together.
No, not the universe. They'll begin the strength testing by seeing how much tape it takes to bind Adam.
Relax. This won't hurt a bit.
Channeling his dark side, Jamie Dexter Heineman goes to
about
work
this?
securing his victim. And he's enjoying it a bit too much.
So Adam, this is 20 pieces of tape. You holding up?
I'm doing good. It's actually strangely comforting. Feels like a really nice blankie. Hey, buddy.
What's even weirder is Adam also seems to be enjoying it.
I'm about 30 pieces of tape in, and I'm starting to have flashbacks of the other strange things we've done in this exact location. Like, hey, we got one! Capturing Cletus in a bathtub. Also, both Jamie and I got painted with gold paint in this exact location. I'm gonna add this to the list now. All right, let's do it. This is cool. It's like I am the plywood.
Well, so far you're not going anywhere.
No, I'm not going anywhere, although I tell you, I can feel myself settling in here quite, whoa. Wow, really, I'm almost weightless. Perhaps I should point towards the mat? I'm just suggesting. There we go. Oh, whoa, hey. Oh, 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 that was just the rigging settling, right?
Yeah.
Dude, this is actually quite comfortable. 2 rolls of tape equals a whole afternoon of fun.
Fun for the whole family.
Of course, it goes without saying, but we're going to anyway. Please don't try this at home. Adam and Jamie are trained duct tape strength test professionals.
Lest you think that I am foolhardy or reckless for allowing my 180 pounds to be held up by 2 rolls of duct tape, this is actually quite a safe system. I feel quite comfortable. It's a distributed system, which means it has many points of failure, a lot of redundancy built in by all the different pieces of duct tape stuck to the plywood. So I could hang out here all day.
While Adam's hanging around, Carrie, Grant, and Tori are about to go ballistic.
Okay, guys, so what's today's sticky story? We have a mythical use for duct tape that highlights both its adhesive qualities and its inherent strength.
Okay, hit me. Okay, so what's the myth?
You've heard of a potato cannon, right?
Yeah, you take a bunch of PVC pipe, glued together, seal off one end, add some propellant, add a potato, ignite the propellant, and bang, you're launching potatoes.
Exactly, and as most teenagers and internet anarchists know, you usually use a cement to seal the PVC piping. But there's a just as reliable, much quicker way, using duct tape. Apparently, duct tape is strong enough to withstand the forces of the potato cannon.
All right, sounds easy enough. So we make 2 cannons, one the traditional way and one with duct tape, and see how they compare.
Man, this reminds me of the time I got sent away to boys camp.
If used responsibly, potato cannons are fun for the whole family. And here's how they work. A series of PVC piping is glued together with PVC cement. Potato is squished into the barrel. Propellant is squirted into the combustion chamber. Ignite that propellant with a spark, and just like a real cannon, the projectile is launched. But the team want to know, can you really replace the PVC cement with plain old duct tape?
Now this may look like a pretty random bunch of materials I have here. I mean, we're talking piping, duct tape, potatoes. But to me, this looks like the glorious beginnings of a good old-fashioned potato cannon. And that's exactly what I'm gonna build. Basically, a potato cannon is like any cannon. You have an explosion happening in the combustion chamber. Okay, that is my combustion chamber held together with duct tape. Gases are expanding and they need to escape, so they look for the path of least resistance. Now, that should be the potato. That's why the potato launches across the field.
Ooh, baked potato.
Now, the big question is, can the duct tape hold up as well as the actual cement that you use to put these pipes together? Now, we know that we can launch a potato with this guy. Can we do it with this guy without it exploding at the bottom instead of just launching a potato?
Grant, we're trying to make science cool.
Once I was the pupil, now I am the master.
All right, go ahead. Never. You're not my father.
So with the cannons complete, the team makes its way to its detonation destination.
So we got us some potato cannons, but we can't fire them in the shop. So we've come to the Alameda runway where we have a big expansive space right here where we can shoot off into the distance and explore whether duct tape is as strong as a traditional glue that holds together a potato cannon.
He's just relaxing on his porch, shooting off his potato gun.
Yeah. You trying to hit San Francisco?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me introduce you to the latest items in the Carry Byron line of home destruction. This is a spud chucker made entirely out of PVC tubing with actual PVC glue. And this is the duct tape tater tosser, but this has duct tape fastening. This is a setup for a control test. We'll have Buster in the chair.
Load her up.
We've got a scale to tell us how fast the potatoes come out of the barrel, and just for laps, we'll be measuring exactly how far they go. This is gonna be great.
So great, the team feel it needs an audience.
Okay, instead of the peanut gallery this time, we have our potato gallery. We got like little Spud Grant, giant Spud Carey. For some reason, I picked out a huge potato for myself. And little Spud Tori. You can watch.
We ready?
With a couple of squirts of the classified propellant, the control cannon is good to blow.
All right, light it up.
Okay, we got the Spud Checker, AKA Spudzuka, in 3, 2, 1. Woohoo!
All right, should we go see how far that potato went?
Absolutely. Where's Splash Zone?
All right, what do we get?
267 feet.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Sure, but they want a pretty good data set. And for that, they'll need multiple shots.
Woohoo! 397.
And more bad puns.
All right, and the next Spudnik.
Yeah! Before they get the all-important distance average.
375.
So the potato cannon is working great. We got some good distances.
Yeah, we got an average range of 346 feet and a speed of 179 miles per hour.
So next step, duct tape tater tosser. I think the true test here is, will the duct tape hold up?
This could be explosive.
So, can duct tape contain an explosion capable of sending a spud over 300 feet at a speed of 179 miles an hour?
All right, let's do it.
Surely it's too much to ask of this humble yet highly versatile material.
Duct tape tater tosser in 3, 2, 1.
Oh! It worked! The duct tape held together.
Yeah, it didn't explode.
Not only did it not explode, the first shot from the duct tape tater tosser was right in the slot.
387.
That is right in the range.
That's almost exact. And it didn't blow up.
Which is really what counts. But just to make sure, I think we might have to fire maybe a few more off, right?
Right, because although they know it works,
Whoa!
The question is, does it match the regular cannon's reliability?
Get away from our test! He needs our sample!
Now to you, it may look like a sea of cones, but to me, it's data. Not only that, it's consistent data. Let me lay it on you. Our spud chucker, held together by PVC cement, had an average range of 346 feet and an average speed of 179 miles per hour. Our duct tape tater tosser, which is a potato cannon held together entirely by duct tape, had an average range of 336 feet and an average speed of 160 miles per hour. That's a difference of 3% on the range and 11% on the speed. Now, given varying winds, differences in the masses of the potatoes, and different amounts of propellant, I'd say that's enough to call their performance identical.
But this is a duct tape special. We can't stop here. This is MythBusters. We gotta ramp it up. We gotta figure out what else we're gonna build with duct tape. I mean, a potato cannon, that's just small potatoes. Get it? Never mind.
If MacGyver had to endorse one product, it would surely be the universal engineering cure-all, duct tape. And to honor its 101 weird and wonderful uses,
Hey, I tell you, I can hang out here all day.
we've devoted a whole hour to it.
Oh, it's for real.
Duct tape was originally invented by the Army. They used it to seal up ammo cases, and they called it duct tape, you know, quack. Quack, damn you. Because it would repel water. Later on, they started to use it for heating and air conditioning vents, things like that, because they would seal it up. But basically, the formulation is the same. It's a plastic coating on the outside to seal things up. It has a fabric structure that gives it its strength, and it has a natural rubber adhesive on the inside, so it sticks to stuff.
And it's that combination of strength and stickiness that has led to the first myth. Can it suspend a car? To find out, Adam and Jamie are weighing in with some strip-by-strip numbers.
We need to find out how much a single length of tape will support in terms of weight, so that we can determine how many we need to lift the car. Now, this is our tape testing rig. We've got one end of the tape goes on a bar on the forklift, the other end of the tape goes on this flat metal surface, and we keep adding barbell weights until the tape breaks.
80 pounds, here we go. Wow, we figured out pretty much the exact weight threshold on the first try.
Yep, I'd say about 70 pounds for a one-time lift.
So all they need now is some wide open space and a car they don't mind dropping. Dead car driving.
Let's get started.
Okay.
It'll be a simple setup. A crane like this one, and a hook, shackle, and single crossbar.
This thing right here is what we're going to attach the tape to. Now, we could run all the tape strips to the crane hook, but we'd end up with a big messy blob. If we're going to get the most out of each strip of tape, we need to be neat and clean with it, and this will allow us to do that.
And hanging from the other end of the myth-inspiring sticky stuff will be the car, which weighs...
The car weighs about 5,000 pounds. Now, each strip of tape will hold about 70 pounds. So that means we'd get away with lifting the car with around 80 strips of tape, I think. We'll call it 100 just to be safe.
Jamie, this is your conscience. It's time to start working.
There are a lot of different things you can do with duct tape. You can bind things together, you can seal things up like ducts and so on, but what we're looking for here is how sticky it is.
I think I've got it down to a reasonable pattern.
If we do our job right, and we actually are able to lift the car off the ground, that cloth in the tape is going to give way before the adhesive does.
It's starting to look like a cathedral of duct tape. That makes sense. I mean, duct tape's almost a religion with some people. Why, you ask? Because secretly, you've always wondered, and that's why we're here. We've used 99 separate strands.
All right, here it is, last one.
Used up 5.5 rolls of duct tape, and by our measurement, this ought to be just enough to lift this car. I think it's gonna.
It's a thing of beauty. And despite the fact the guys have done the math and know it should work, it somehow seems improbable. Duct tape lifting a car? Well, we're about to find out for real.
Let's get it off the ground.
Let's start up the crane.
The crane winch cranks into action.
This is it.
And millimeter by millimeter, it gently pulls the car skywards.
Okay, I can see it starting to come up.
Come on. It's got a very loose relationship with the ground right now.
Oh, it's almost painful to watch. Ah!
So it looks like duct tape can be used to seal a potato cannon.
Yeah, and that's got me thinking.
Ooh, that's got me worried.
It should, because I'm thinking that you make an entire cannon out of duct tape.
Wait a minute, you're talking about a genuine black powder cannon firing real cannonballs.
Out of nothing but duct tape?
Yes!
Carrie, you should start thinking more often.
I know! But we're MythBusters, we have to ramp it up.
Okay, hang on a second, you guys. Inside of a real cannon, the pressures are significantly higher than inside a potato cannon.
Well, maybe we should find out if duct tape is even strong enough. We'll take a steel pipe, seal off one end with nothing but duct tape, load it like a cannon, fire it, and see if it withstands the forces.
And we'll start with 1 inch thick, then we'll go to 2, 3, 4 inches until we find out the thickness that it needs to be to hold up.
Sounds crazy, but don't you love it?
Yes, I know!
A cannon, a regular one, works a bit like this. The black powder explodes in the combustion chamber, and the expanding gases throw the cannonball along the barrel. So first up, to find out how much duct tape is required to withstand those pressures, the guys are going to replace the back end of the combustion chamber with inch-thick tiles of tape. However many it takes.
I see injuries in my future. So it's time for me to whip out my cannon. Now let's just say I know a few things about building cannons. However, this time, we're building it out of nothing but duct tape. Now, duct tape is strong, but is it going to be strong enough to withstand the kind of forces that are exerted by exploding black powder? So I need to make a strength gauge. Let's go to work. That way we can put the duct tape under the same conditions that a cannon would be under, so we can test the limits of this duct tape. I mean, black powder and duct tape? That doesn't sound like science. That sounds like a family reunion.
So this is the strength part of our strength gauge. It's a plastic frame I've cut out for layering duct tape. I'm gonna make a 1 inch thick sheet that I'll then cut down into 1 foot by 1 foot square tiles. They're gonna bolt onto the back of what Tori's making, and when we ignite our black powder, we'll find out how much duct tape it doth take. So that is 1 inch thick.
Yay!
All right, let's cut it up into tiles. So we've used 37 rolls of duct tape. At 60 yards a roll, that's 2,220 yards of duct tape.
Hey, dude, you got something on your face.
That's 1 1/4 miles to make all the tiles we need for our strength test.
There's a new fashion statement.
Yeah, it's called
This is cool, dude. You can do a whole line of shirts like this.
La Vie de Booger.
So with the duct tape tiles and strength gauge complete, it's off to a familiar and favorite location.
So it's time to find out how strong our duct tape is.
That looks nothing like a cannon.
But it does have similarities to a cannon. I mean, it has exploding black powder and a projectile. So that being said, we can't test it in the shops. Here you go, Carrie, if you want to take a nap. Didn't your mother ever tell you not to play on the bed?
She told me not to play on my bed. I think this will work.
So we've come here to the bomb range, our favorite place, to test this safely so that nobody gets hurt. It's a straight gauge. It's not a cannon.
And if you're wondering exactly why it's not a cannon, here's the man with the strength gauge.
First, we're not using a cannonball. We're using a piston. It's the same diameter and weight as a cannonball, but it's not a cannonball. Anybody got any duct tape? Second, we're not using a fuse. We're using an electric remote system to light off the gunpowder. And most importantly, there is no steel back at the end of this steel tube. It's gonna be a duct tape panel. Once we load this up and fire it off, what we're looking for is the piston to fly out of the barrel and have the duct tape intact. If that happens, then we know duct tape is strong enough to build a cannon out of. You know what, after looking at how thick that 1 inch duct tape panel is, I'm thinking one panel is gonna be enough.
Really, just one? I think it's gonna take at least 2. I would bet on 2.
I think it's gonna take at least 3.
All right, put your money where your mouth is.
I got $5.
I got 5.
Okay, so who holds the money?
Cameraman.
All right, we're hooked in.
For this to be a good, successful test, what we're looking for is that the duct tape tiles, whatever thickness we end up with, will be intact while the piston blows out the other end of the strength gauge.
Okay, so this is 1-inch thick slab of duct tape in the strength gauge.
This is your chance at $15.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Oh! Pay up, suckers! Wow!
Wait, let's survey the damage first. I want to make sure it held up.
1.
Incredibly, it seems to have worked first time out. And it's disbelief all round.
There's no way this test worked on the first go. There's no way.
A 1-inch thick slab of duct tape was enough to withstand the kind of force to launch a cannonball.
Wow! That's perfect, man.
It burned the heck out of it, but didn't blow out.
No, it's beautiful.
It just burnt off the wax paper, too. It didn't even go through the first layer of duct tape.
That's
this stuff is incredible.
We got a great result from the duct tape strength test. It looks like duct tape is going to be strong enough to build a cannon out of it. Now all we need to do is build a cannon. But you know what the best part of this experiment was? I won the bet. Give me my money, punk. Give me that.
Oh, come on, baby.
Adam and Jamie are attempting to lift a car with just 99 strips of duct tape. And they're close. Real close.
He's got one wheel.
That's it. Off. It's off the ground. That's almost like a piece of temporary art right there.
That's kind of nuts. Why you need to do this, I don't know, but it's cool. It's holding.
That is awesome. Nice work, sir.
It's holding. And with a flight time of a minute and counting, the result is clear, leaving just one remaining question.
It's only a matter of time before it comes crashing down. It'll be just like a zipper opening up.
Yeah, as with all flights off the ground. Taking off is optional, landing is mandatory.
First one went. That's 2 strips of tape that are gone now.
Oh,
that's 3,
oh,
4.
Oh! Nice!
Exactly like a zipper. Plus, just like Jamie suggested, it wasn't the adhesive that gave way, but the tape itself.
Wow. I love how consistently it broke all the way along that sharp point.
Yeah, I don't see a single piece of tape that lost its adhesion. They all ripped right in the middle of the tape.
That's true.
Yet again, tools and materials used in ways for which they were never intended. In the case of duct tape, if you've got enough of it, you could move the world.
Not a bad way to spend the afternoon.
What's next? That was cool.
I totally agree. Hold on a second, I want to picture it again. Okay.
What's next?
This is a good one for you, Captain. Have you ever had to use duct tape to fix a leak in a boat?
My boats don't leak.
Okay, well just imagine that you're out on the open seas, your boat's got a leak in it, and this is the only thing you've got to repair it. Will it do the job?
Waterproofing, adhesion, sounds like a good test.
I thought so.
And so are 2 MythBusters, one an optimist.
What a gorgeous day for a boat ride.
And one a pessimist.
Or for sinking a boat.
Arrive on the shores of Frisco Bay, ready to set this myth adrift.
Well, if we're going to repair a hole in a boat with duct tape, then obviously we're going to need a boat with a hole in it. We've got a boat, it doesn't yet have a hole, but I'm about to remedy that.
It's a sizable hole in the hull, but confidence in the sticky cure is still high and dry.
This is a no-brainer. The tape's going to hold just fine. Under these conditions, this size hole, we could sail all day.
However, Jamie Glass Half Empty Heineman is prepared for the worst.
If you're going to get in a leaky boat, you need to remember a couple of things. The first one is a life preserver.
All right, let's put this puppy on the water.
And the second one is something to bail with, like a bleach bottle or something like that. and go.
All right. I'll step in.
Okay.
Well, it floats. It successfully supports
Okay, I'm holding
one MythBuster. Two MythBuster.
I don't see any water. That's always a good sign.
And the dinghy with its duct tape patch is looking good to row.
Yeah.
Plus, it's also standing the test of time.
Should have brought my fishing pole.
Well, it's been about 25 minutes, and as both Jamie and I predicted, the duct tape repair is holding up beautifully.
Properly applied, the duct tape actually seems to be doing fairly well. I have to say, though, I wouldn't take off across the ocean with that kind of patch. It works, but it scares me a little bit.
And with good reason, because at the 30-minute mark,
Where's that water coming in from?
there's a hint that the duct tape isn't a permanent solution.
Yeah, it's pooling in the bottom there.
Yeah.
That's kind of a bad sign. It clearly works. I mean, we're still afloat, but I'm not too happy with it because we're going to have to start bailing before long.
I would say that it's not waterproof, but it's absolutely water resistant.
I'll buy that.
It's a testament to the tape that after 40 minutes, they're still afloat.
It's just a little wet.
But Adam has a tougher assignment in mind.
So I think our duct tape patch is holding up pretty well, but honestly, when I think boat repair, I don't think of repairing a boat on the dock and then putting in. If you're gonna do it on the dock, you're gonna have all the materials you need. Duct tape means you're in an emergency situation. I would like to create that emergency situation.
You want to get wet, huh?
I do. Rip off the patch. Water's pouring through the hole. Duct tape's the only thing we got. We gotta fix that hole.
And the water's cold.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Whoa. That's a bona fide emergency we got going on there.
I'll start making a patch.
You start making a patch.
Like the little boy and the dike, Adam is plugging the hole digitally. While Jamie goes to work with the mythical material.
If you have to apply duct tape underwater, you're going to have a hard time because the water forms a film that inhibits the adhesive from really connecting with the surface you're trying to put it on.
All right, going in. You ready?
Okay. It's really frustrating. It's just like the adhesive is not there.
Unsurprisingly, it's not sticking very well, but it is sticking a little bit. All right, take your foot off. I think we start the clock and see how that repair does. What do you say?
Starts now.
Okay. 1.
Harry, Grant, and Tori have seen that 1-inch thick duct tape can withstand the explosive pressures of a cannon.
But is it going to be strong enough to hold the shape of the cannon once it's completely built? Now let me just show you something. Imagine this duct tape roll is a slice out of the cannon. Now I'm going to cut out the little cardboard insert so that way it's just duct tape. And if you look at it, I put pressure on it and it collapses. If this happens when we fire off our cannon and our cannonball gets stuck inside, the whole cannon could explode.
And the team is going to play it safe by making its duct tape cannon barrel 2 inches thick. And to get the perfect shape, it's going to build it around a removable steel form.
Okay, so here's the plan. We have our internal diameter plug. We're going to grease this up. You know what Jamie would say here.
When in doubt, lube.
We're gonna cover it in wax paper.
All right.
And then we're gonna start a cross-hatching system with all of our duct tape to get to our target thickness so we have the perfect duct tape cannon.
After a few minutes, the guys settle into a routine.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. And on occasion, Carrie settles into her chair.
Whew, I'm working up a sweat over here. I think I need to take a break. Could you get me a drink?
Miss Byron wants a drink!
With almost 20 rolls of tape used and the end in sight,
I think it looks like a giant duct tape zeppelin.
Or a big silver sausage.
Or that.
the team starts thinking through the next stage of the build.
One of our big concerns is that the cannon will simply collapse on itself. So I'm going to make a smaller wooden form that we can use to safely transport this to our testing site. Ta-da! Here it is.
And another problem that we're gonna face is that the cannon itself may just fold. So I gotta come up with some kind of support system that runs the entire length of the barrel that will allow us to attach to our stand.
All right,
Yeah,
2 inches. That's it.
All right, we hit our target point. Now the hard part, getting this off the form.
I don't think it'll be that hard. I think we prepped really well.
Okay.
All right.
Famous last words.
Optimism, guys, optimism.
Exuding the confident glow of the well-prepared, Carrie has no doubts it's going to work.
Yeah.
The boys, not so much.
Yeah, slipping right off. Easy. How bad is this gonna suck if we can't get this off the form?
Pretty bad.
Okay, so we got this whole plan, right? We drill a hole, we put air pressure in, and it should just kind of slide right off the form. We drilled the hole, we put the air pressure in, nothing. So we drilled another hole, we put more air pressure in.
That's good. It's moving.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Yep. You got an inch. It's going. It's going.
And it started to move a little bit, but still not really coming off that easily.
There we go. Move it. Move it.
Finally, we wrapped the strap around the cannon, pulled on it with the forklift, and then it popped right off.
Oh, there
Yep,
it goes.
there it goes.
It's coming off. Yeah! Yeah! We got it.
Yes! Say hello to our little friend.
Nice.
Oh, that is a beautiful thing.
The boys had their doubts about us getting the duct tape cannon off of the metal form.
That is sick.
That's a duct tape cannon.
This might actually work.
Nice. That is awesome.
I knew it was gonna work.
Now all we need is gunpowder and cannonballs.
Adam and Jamie are kings of the world. But inevitably, just like Kate and Leo, they're going under. Because while testing the myth that duct tape can keep you afloat, their emergency wet repair is leaking. And leaking fast.
I'd say we're at like 6-7 inches. Well, it's not looking so good for duct tape repair of a boat in situ, in damp conditions, as it were. And it doesn't look like our boat is long for the world here, but we're gonna wait it out.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say we're officially sinking because, like, we're sitting in water.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty clear to me that applied dry, duct tape actually implements a not unreasonable boat repair. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Applied wet, not so much. Here. I think we can still get back to shore.
Duct tape for boat repair, well, like a lot of things, the devil's in the details.
Have you ever paddled a sinking boat?
No, that I haven't done. With a dry surface, a super clean one, properly applied, it'll work fairly well for a while. Anything else, forget about it.
Oh, whoa. Okay, I think we're gonna need some help from the camera crew.
So, leaky boat repair, I'm calling it plausible, even if it's not ideal. Hell, out on the open water, I'd rather have this than nothing by a long shot.
I agree, but you know, I was thinking, why mess around with patching boats and such nonsense? Let's up the ante and actually make a boat out of duct tape.
I love it! I knew you'd find the open water inspiring.
Be sure to bring your life vest.
Yep, our salty Sea Dog Heineman and Captain Savage love a nautical engineering challenge. They escaped Alcatraz in a boat made of raincoats. They raised the Titanic with ping pong balls. They've even made a speedboat out of frozen newspapers.
I'm king of the world! Whoa.
And now a boat made out of duct tape? But it won't be just duct tape, surely.
Now, because it'd be a little floppy if it was all duct tape, we're gonna use steel wire to make a grid to hang the duct tape on.
Ah, it's pretty.
Next, the mast, which is raised and welded into position.
Ahoy!
Followed by the keel and rudder.
Oh, yeah.
Which just leaves the key ingredient.
You may see 100 rolls of duct tape. I see a boat.
Lots and lots of it. But is it enough to float a boat?
If you're gonna build a boat out of duct tape, you need to think about the duct tape as cloth or like an animal hide. It's kind of like weaving. And in fact, that's what Native Americans used to do, is build boats out of animal hide, and they would make a lightweight wood structure that they'd stretch it over. We're gonna do the same thing, but instead of wood, we're gonna use steel because we can work quicker with it. Of course, otherwise, the boat is a pretty normal modern sailboat design.
I gotta say what's really cool about this, you're gonna watch the whole thing get built in like a minute and a half. It's gonna have taken us 6 hours, and while it may seem tedious, I find it meditative, relaxing, glorious.
With the second layer being applied, the cornerstone of their design should be noted. It'll be sticky side to sticky side.
That's the last one. The hull is done.
The double adhesive layer forming what the guys hope will be a waterproof bond. But Jamie's not quite convinced it's enough.
Well, Adam, we've only got one shot at this. I'm a little concerned. I'm kind of thinking we should put another coat on it.
I think it's ready to go. I'll give you action on this. I'll pay you $100 if this thing fails catastrophically. It's ready to sail.
Only $100? Make it 5.
Okay, $500. Sure.
$500. I can't lose. Let's go sailing.
But they're not quite done yet. They need a sail. And in a classic MythBusters moment, we reduce the next hour of hard work and problem solving to a crisp 10-second montage.
Yeah, baby. You can keep your duct tape prom tucks. We got a boat!
If I was alone on the open sea, the last thing I'd ask for is 23 rolls of duct tape. But apparently, this is enough to make a boat. 690 square feet. If you laid each of these rolls end to end, they would span the Golden Gate Bridge, and soon, we're gonna take them sailing.
All right, let's put this duct tape to the test.
Gary, Grant, and Tori are about to find out if you can make a fully functioning cannon from duct tape.
Look at this arsenal of absurdities.
The test will be a simple performance comparison with a real steel cannon, including muzzle velocity, range, and whether it, catastrophically fails.
Now, you may recognize this cannon from Prison Break when we tried to launch a prisoner over the prison wall. This time, we're going to be using it for a control test before we fire off our duct tape cannon. And we're going to be using the same amount of black powder as we did on our strength gauge.
That's 4 shotgun shells. And we've placed cones at every 50 yards so we can see just how far our cannonballs travel.
All right, that's 500 yards. I don't think the cannonball is going to go much farther than that, do you?
No way. And finally, to check the speed of the cannonballs, we set up this scale. Because remember, for this myth to be confirmed, it should have similar range, similar speed, and most importantly, the duct tape cannon cannot blow up. All right, see you back there.
Okay. Sure leave me with the dangerous job.
With the 4 shotgun shells worth of black powder in the combustion chamber, all that's left to do is light the fuse.
All right, here we go.
Oh, and run.
Run, Forrest, run!
Yeah! You guys ready?
I'm ready. Are we lit?
We're lit.
The inexorable, hard-thumping excitement of the lit fuse. Whether it's your first or 100th, there's nothing quite like it.
Yeah! Nice!
Woohoo! That was far.
Great!
Right in the cone zone.
Dang.
That's some serious, real steel and black powder hardware. It threw the cannonball the full length of the course.
That looks like a divot right there. Like,
Yeah, it totally is. It went over 500 yards.
So I've reviewed the high-speed footage, and Tori's cannon was able to fire an 18.5-pound cannonball at 195 miles per hour in a distance of 500 yards. So that is our goal for the duct tape cannon. But to be honest, I will be very happy if our duct tape creation doesn't explode upon ignition.
Adam and Jamie have set themselves the ultimate duct tape challenge.
We got a boat!
The latest in a distinguished line of nautical adventures.
At this point, we've made a boat out of rubber raincoats. We've made one out of frozen newspapers. Now we've made one out of duct tape.
And in the shadow of the Bay Bridge,
Seated.
the final preparation for Stuck on You's maiden voyage is just about complete.
So close, I can feel it. Unless we need any more stakes than our honor and our ability to build things, I've added 500 simoleons to the mix. Can we see $500 at the bottom of the screen?
Great. Now let's get one of those ka-ching sounds. Awesome. These are the stakes. That's the boat. We're about to take it out. It's now or never. Let's get it to the water.
Yep. It's getting close to the moment of truth, and all that's separating us from Davy Jones's locker is a little bit of tape. That's good. I don't know whether it's going to work or not, but if it doesn't, I'm getting wet and cold, and I'm motivated not to do that.
As unlikely as it seems, and surely in a world first, Adam and Jamie are attempting to sail.
Let me get out of the way. There we go.
In a boat made out of duct tape. And despite the chaotic start, it appears the boat really does float.
You got the tiller on the rudder?
Yep.
You see any water down there?
Not a drop.
Preliminary report so that it's seaworthy. Permission to climb aboard?
Come on in.
All right, here I go. I'm in. And we're away. Oh, this is a life, eh?
So far.
Understandable skepticism.
We don't have much wind.
But even glass half empty Heinemann
Try not to put your feet through the bottom.
Relaxes as they catch a draft and get underway.
This thing's holding water, man. I don't see a drop of water.
Yeehaw! This is actually working. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Hey, give me some skin there.
Ow.
Ow!
It went over 500 yards.
Tori Grant and Carey's real steel cannon can.
Now it's time to see what the duct tape cannon can do.
Now we have a target for our duct tape cannon. Now I'm hoping we get the same sort of distance out of this because this would be a really nice addition to our arsenal.
But the guys are getting ahead of themselves. They seem to have a sticky problem.
One of the pros and the cons of duct tape is the fact that it is so flexible and malleable. So it's great that we can actually make a complex shape like a cannon, but the big question is, can it hold that shape long enough to shoot off one of our cannonballs?
Excellent.
In order to fire off this cannon, it is going to be tricky because loading it, we got to move quick. Because as soon as we pull off this plug, the duct tape cannon is going to lose its shape. Ready?
Yep.
I mean, as strong as the duct tape is, it's not rigid.
Oh, shoot. Oh, that's a tight fit. We might have a bomb here instead of a cannon.
So if it loses its shape, there's a potential that the ball gets stuck inside the barrel.
Oh, this has just gotten a lot scarier.
If that happens, it's going to trap all that pressure from the burning black powder. Instead of getting a cannon firing off, we're going to get a giant explosion. That would be okay with me.
When catastrophic failure equals an explosion,
Lighting it in 3, 2, 1.
it's a win-win as far as Tori's concerned.
Get out of here. This one could be dangerous.
Run! All right, the fuse is lit. It looks good.
So this is it. Can a duct tape cannon withstand and brace the force required to throw an 18.5-pound cannonball 500 yards? Or will the soft and malleable barrel grip the ball and cause it to bomb?
Okay, it's gonna be soon. Yeah, it worked! It didn't blow up! Yeah!
We made a duct tape
I love
cannon
it.
that
I
worked.
love it. Let's shoot another one off.
It worked. And a happier bunch of ballistic MythBusters you're unlikely to see.
It's gorgeous. Look at that. There's no deformation. Everything is still pretty much intact.
And we launched the ball pretty far.
But exactly how far?
That is cool. It went like 125 yards.
So, according to my calculations, our duct tape cannon fired the cannonball at 136 miles per hour, which is only a 30% reduction over Tori's cannon. Now, it suffered a little bit in the distance, it only went a quarter of the way, but that's still 125 yards. And just bear this in mind, that cannonball is 18.5 pounds, one cannon is made out of solid steel, and the other cannon is made out of cloth-backed, polyethylene-coated, rubberized adhesive tape.
So performance-wise, it didn't quite match up. But there's no doubt it's a fully functioning cannon. And with the fat lady warming her tonsils for the confirmation aria, the guys load up one more time. You know, just to be sure.
I always get really excited when we actually get to confirm a myth, because we always are busting them. Overwhelmingly, we bust myths. This one, duct tape cannon, is actually confirmed. And now we have a duct tape cannon. You know what that looks like to me? Confirmed.
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't go as far as the regular cannon, but it did work.
That's right. No explosion, and it went the distance. Confirmed.
Now, more duct tape.
Love it.
Duct tape and black powder. Two of my favorite things. And here on MythBusters, we figured out a way to bring them together in the form of a cannon. And a cannon that worked, that didn't explode. We confirmed this. I just can't tell you how happy I am. Good times, everybody. Good times.
You could say Adam and Jamie are enjoying themselves.
Scotty, I need more power.
I'm giving it all we got, Captain, but I just can't push it any further.
They've managed to make a sailing boat out of duct tape.
I gotta say, we knew the duct tape stuck together was reasonably waterproof, but it also has a really nice tensile strength. It's made of just a fabulous skin on this boat.
I think the key to it is making one nice piece of fabric out of the whole skin. Adhesive to adhesive was miles ahead of just putting tape on any which way.
So with a couple of days and a couple of dozen rolls of duct tape, we set ourselves the task of making a viable, seaworthy vessel. And while it's true that failure is always an option, I have to say success is pretty sweet.
And as far as Adam's concerned, it's a financial success as well.
Dude, I think we can stay out here all day. This boat is not gonna fail anytime soon. I don't think I have to pay 500 bucks.
You're absolutely right.
I love being right.
Well, Adam, you know what they say.
Yeah?
Whatever floats your boat. I somehow didn't think it was going to be duct tape, though.
On this episode of MythBusters, hold on to your hats because the action is fast and furious.
That was awesome.
First up, Adam and Jamie investigate excavators on the internet.
Copy that.
They take to task 3 extraordinary viral videos and ask, are they fact or fiction?
This has got to be one of the strangest things that I've ever done.
Then Carrie, Grant, and Tori rip into the most requested insane myth in MythBuster history.
Codename Grizzly.
If a bear tears a hole in your plane, is it really possible to patch it up with duct tape?
Lives are on the line.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage.
What more do you need to know?
And Jamie Heineman.
It's party time.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Together with Grant Imahara,
A little hotter than I expected.
Carrie Byron,
Here you go. Package for you.
and Tori Belleci.
All in the name of science.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. First up, gear up for the rise of the machines.
Are you having fun?
I am, but there is a point to it.
Which is?
Well, we've been gathering videos over the past few months of people purportedly doing incredible things using an excavator.
Like?
Well, we've got one in which a guy seems to be rowing a barge with one, another where a guy actually uses an excavator and climbs in it, and a third where people apparently use one to go wakeboarding.
I can dig it.
I thought so.
Here on the show, we've often shown that seeing is not always believing. After all, the internet incubates fake viral videos like a cyber petri dish. So, Adam and Jamie are approaching these 3 crazy viral videos with a healthy dose of skepticism. Are they real or more film fakery? One thing's for sure, putting the clips to the test by attempting them is going to be an earth-moving experience.
Well, the plan for this seems pretty simple. We take each of the clips one by one and see if we can replicate them with an excavator.
Totally. Can we start with rowing? That's the one that thrills me the most right now.
I don't see why not.
Excellent.
Like Jamie said, the plan sounds pretty simple. However, the execution will be anything but. Just for starters, hiring the excavators and getting permission to get set adrift in San Francisco Bay required some fast talking. But Jamie and Adam are optimists, and crazy is what they do.
This is our barge. These are excavators, and behind me, the open water of the San Francisco Bay. Soon, we're gonna be dragged out into that water, and we're gonna have to get back using only these as our oars. Shall we put these guys in place?
I think so.
All right.
Basically, what we're going to be doing is rowing a boat, except that instead of wooden oars, we're going to be using these buckets. And instead of human power, we're going to be using diesels and hydraulics. Otherwise, it's the same. We lower them into the water, and we push, and hopefully we go forward.
So, after breaking down the key elements of the test, they next discuss the potential logistical problems.
There are a number of problems that we're going to have to overcome, and the first and foremost one is current. If we have a lot of current or even a lot of wind, it's going to make our job really hard. Secondly, we've got to get our act together. I mean, Adam and I have to coordinate so that we're working in tandem to keep the barge on track.
I think we're ready. Look, rowing is easy. Rowing with an excavator is this whole separation between you and machine. It all comes down to technique. This is swing. This is up and down. The technique is like this. Down, swing, up, swing, reverse, down, swing, up, swing, reverse. It's like this tapping your head and rubbing your belly kind of operation that we're not gonna have a lot of time to figure out. We gotta get out there, get stranded in the bay, and get in the zone.
In addition to the tricky logistics required to coordinate their giant mechanical oars, there's also a very real danger of going overboard.
We're not taking any chances. We're going to actually weld these excavators to the deck of the barge, because once we start swinging back and forth, we could swing ourselves right off the barge.
Even welded down, disaster is just one mistimed oar stroke away. Catch the barge with the bucket and the excavator's weight, and powerful hydraulics will easily snap those cables.
Hey, Adam, you want to do a little fist bump?
Note that unlike the clip, Adam and Jamie are using 2 excavators instead of 1.
Nice.
But the principle is the same. Can you generate momentum and maintain directional control? To test that, they're getting a tugboat tow half a mile into the middle of the bay and will have to row back. But they're not making it easy. They're set adrift in San Francisco Bay, a waterway with notoriously strong currents and a busy commercial shipping lane. It's a nerve-wracking operation.
I'll be honest with you. When I swing my arm out over the water and all I can see below my cab is water, I get that wingy feeling in my legs. It's a little bit woozy, but I swear I think this is gonna work.
With no time to practice, it's time to put that prediction to the test.
Well, the tug's left. Are you ready?
All right, this is rowing with an excavator. Back towards shore. Here we go.
Adam and Jamie, positioned at the front of the barge, go to work. And initially, things look great. They can recreate the rowing action from the video clip. The bucket is lowered, pulled back through the water, lifted out, and reset. However, simply going through the motions is not enough. They need forward momentum and control of the barge.
You might want to slow down a little bit so I can keep the bow pointed towards shore more.
Despite the difficulties of communicating from their awkward vantage points,
copy that.
A high degree of teamwork does enable them to orientate the barge in the correct direction.
I'm going to start to reverse.
Copy.
But crucially, forward momentum eludes them.
Well, so far, the current is turning out to be a bit of a problem. I'm encouraged by the fact that we are able to control the direction of the barge, but we need more speed. We need more power.
Meaning it's time to call in the tugboat and assess their lack of success. With the guys unable to make any forward progress, it's possible that the movement in the viral video was down to a strong current and not the excavator's rowing action.
So I'm wondering if we don't need some kind of alignment.
The myth looks to be set adrift, but Adam and Jamie aren't giving up. Up next is a grisly, sticky story that hit the headlines the world over.
All right, I'll give you one guess. What's this myth about?
Duct tape, airplanes.
And bears. It's the old "a bear mauled my airplane" story.
Oh, this is the one where a bear tears into a landed plane to get the food. When the pilot returns, sees the damage, but uses duct tape to repair it and flies out of there.
It's a crazy tale that sent the internet into a tailspin. The story goes that an Alaskan local stumbles upon a stranded plane, tears apart the aircraft, presumably searching for a free lunch, and wanders back into the woods to do what bears do. And our pilot returns to find he's not flying anywhere. It may sound like a tall story, but the pictured evidence is real. Our hero did in fact repair the extensive damage with duct tape. But the question on everyone's social network site is, could the pilot really have flown the patched up plane home?
Look, this sounds like a really tough checklist. I mean, first we need a plane, and second we need a bear to maul it.
Well, the good news is we found a pilot that's actually going to let us use his plane for our myth.
Really? That's great. What about the bear?
Yeah, there's no way we're gonna be able to take a plane up to Alaska and have a wild bear tear into it. I mean, that's just too unreliable. I mean, we could build our own claws and tear it up ourselves.
Now I like that idea.
You gonna be the bear? So we are testing the myth, can you repair a plane with duct tape? Now, when I first heard this myth, I thought this was fertile grounds for MythBusters. We're building a plane. A bear tears into an airplane to get food. When the pilot returns to his plane, sees the damage done, repairs it with duct tape, and then flies out. Now, before we start, we need to build a plane.
And our generous aircraft owner is James, who confirms his tentative relationship with sanity.
Tell you we're building a plane?
By not only allowing the Wrong brothers to assemble the plane,
I wouldn't trust us to put a plane together.
but also by volunteering to fly it after they recreate the myth by tearing it apart and sticking it back together with duct tape.
Now, to test this, we can't use the actual aircraft that was in the myth because the FAA frowns upon the type of modifications that we'd be doing to it and then trying to fly it. But what we have is the next best thing, a B-Light aircraft. It falls under an entirely different set of FAA guidelines, but it has a very similar envelope.
By envelope, Grant means the aircraft's outer skin, a flexible, state-of-the-art polyethylene-based material. A crucial component of the experiment is that ours matches the myth. That way, the team is testing like for like. They also like the location.
We've come out to the New Jerusalem Airfield in Tracy, California. First, we're gonna fly our plane, and then it's time to bring out the bear.
But before Mama Bear bares her claws, the team wants a pre-mauled control flight to confirm their flying machine is in full working order.
So what James is doing right now is putting the plane through its paces. That's awesome! Just to see if our assembly worked, if everything is working correctly, so that we know what it's gonna do after it's been repaired.
Plane looks good. Now it's time for my favorite part, pulling out the claws.
And sporting a pair of heavy metal handpieces she made back at the shop, Carrie is all set to let rip.
Codename, Grizzly. Now we know a bear can tear up a plane. They've been known to peel cars right apart. But because no bears will be harmed in the filming of this MythBusters episode, I'm going to be the bear. I've created these somewhat destructive claws with razor-sharp edges so that I can tear the plane apart. Because everybody knows when it comes to a duct tape myth, destruction is kind of my job. All right, here we go.
In character, wielding her weapons in a furious flurry of slashes,
She's a wild woman.
Carrie soon has the fuselage skin in tatters. With her razor-sharp claws, the damage done mirrors the mauling in the genuine photographic evidence. The central cavity is completely exposed. The tail section is seriously compromised, but the metal infrastructure is still intact.
So the damage that you see here is very similar to what we saw in the photos. The task now is to fix it with duct tape and then try and put it back in the air.
A high-stake task they'll tackle back at the shop.
We are really putting duct tape to the test this time. I mean, lives are on the line.
Internet videos of excavator exploits have gone viral, and Jamie and Adam are digging up the truth. So far, although the clip suggests you can row a boat, real life begs to differ. But they're not done yet.
Well, our first attempt was a little bit of a bust. It's a flood tide here in the San Francisco Bay, which means the current's pushing us south into the bay, and it was too strong for us to overcome.
This next time around, we're going to go a little closer to shore to see whether that makes enough of a difference that we can actually get to our target.
A couple of 100 yards further in, away from the central riptide, they're ready to try again. Cue test 2.
All right, Jamie, we're back in position. You want to try this again?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Once again, Adam and Jamie swing their giant diesel-powered oars into action.
Okay, yeah, now you can come in.
And away from the grip of the rip, their high degree of teamwork begins to pay off.
Copy.
Incredibly, incrementally, they progress towards their goal.
I think we're getting it.
Just like the video clip, they are clearly rowing a barge with excavators.
Well, it took us a little bit of time to get up to speed, to get our practice, to get our sea legs with the excavators, as it were, but once we did, we had actually a pretty fair measure of control over this barge, and it's not small.
Yeah, you brake, I'll turn, and we'll put the stern of the barge towards the dock.
Copy that. This is a great example of how well Jamie and I work together, despite the fact that we don't like each other.
Okay, go forward, Adam.
He's got extensive experience playing around with the momentum of large objects in the water, and the two of us can pick up skills pretty fast.
Let's try one more shove towards the dock a little bit, and then just let it drift.
Even from our really disadvantaged vantage points, we were able to see what the other was doing and intuit what was necessary, and that made this successful. Hey, Jamie, I think we made it, baby.
Well, it wasn't a picture-perfect landing at the dock, but we got within a few feet of it, which is not bad.
Nice work there, partner.
Yeah, so I guess that means the clip was correct. You can, in fact, row with these things.
In a pinch? Yes, you can.
Despite the internet's reputation as a repository of all things fake and fabricated, rowing a barge with an excavator is clearly possible, making the first of the 3 viral videos confirmed.
I think we're done. Shall we move on to the next one?
Sure. What is it?
You're gonna love it.
It's a fact that a bear mauled and grounded an Alaskan aircraft. And these photos, before and after the duct tape patch-up, are genuine. But what caused the MythBusters mailbox to overflow is the pilot's claim that he then flew the patched-up plane home. Carrie, Grant, and Tori are about to test just that.
First, we took our aircraft up just to see what it could do.
That was awesome.
Then, turned myself into a grizzly bear just to see what sort of damage I could do. Now we've got a bunch of duct tape, and we need to see if we can actually repair this plane and make it airworthy again.
Because as things stand, just like the mythically mauled aircraft, it's definitely grounded.
With this plane, in this condition, would you try and fly it?
Absolutely not. The first problem here is that we've lost our rudder, so I'm not going to have any directional control with the airplane. The good news is that we do have structural integrity, but the bad news is that the skin is gone and flapping in the breeze, creating drag. We've got this acting like a scoop. This is not going to fly straight.
No directional control, compromised control surfaces, and uneven drag.
All right, you guys ready to tape it up?
Sounds like a job for the MythBusters' favorite engineering cure-all. But surely it's a stretch. Replacing the aircraft's $13,000 aerodynamic fabric covering with a few rolls of $5 duct tape? And while Carrie and Tori focus on the fuselage, Grant concentrates on the crucial control surfaces.
So we've done a lot of damage to this plane, both to the fuselage and the tail section. But this right here, this is the most important part. This is called the horizontal stabilizer. This is called the vertical stabilizer. They're called stabilizers for a very important reason, because they keep the plane stable.
Stability and steering are obviously priorities when fixing a plane. But a strategy to stay intact in flight is fairly important too.
All right, the way we're repairing the plane, we did one skin of duct tape going vertically, and now we've covered it with another skin going horizontally. This way it is in line with the travel of the plane because we don't want any edges to get caught on the wind and unravel what we have made. We'll have this done before the bear returns.
It's certainly a quick fix. The question is, will it have the necessary structural integrity for a stable flight? Will they come unstuck? With the finished fix-up looking airworthy, there's only one way to find out.
The true test is when we take this thing up in the air, but personally, I think duct tape is plausible for fixing a plane.
Carrie's clearly confident it'll work. However, back out on location,
Hope it flies.
as the moment approaches when James will be risking serious injury on their behalf, their confidence that duct tape will withstand the elements and the rigors of flight is replaced with a nervous caution.
It is so hot out here, and as it gets hotter, the duct tape loses its stickiness. Not only that, we don't know how the tape is going to react once it's up in the air and the wind speed is going across it. I mean, the wind might catch an edge and rip the tape off. This could be very bad. So I think we need to get this plane up as soon as possible.
Next myth, can duct tape fix a pilot?
Been good knowing you.
Nice knowing you.
Despite the danger of the duct tape coming unstuck in the 90-degree heat, they won't be rushing into anything.
We're gonna do this the safe and methodical way. So if this thing goes south, we all run, right?
Run is the plan?
Yeah. And that is first. James is gonna taxi up and down the runway just to make sure all the control surfaces are okay.
So far, so good. I don't see any duct tape whipping in the wind.
Once he's comfortable at that, then he's gonna take it up for the real flight.
With several cautious runs up and down the runway, happy that everything feels right, James gives the signal that he's ready to try this for real. This is it. Will the temporary sticky solution survive the rigors of flight? Is it really possible to fix your plane with duct tape?
There you go. Exciting. This guy is insane.
But for survival, you'd have to do it, right?
It worked! We fixed the plane with duct tape. Let's see if it holds.
It totally works. Dude. Let's hope it does hold.
Yeah,
for
he's
it.
gonna circle a little bit first. Let's make sure it holds, because things can still go wrong.
Carrie's correct. Getting off the ground is one thing, returning to it safely is another.
One interesting thing is that the duct tape is actually flapping a lot more than the Dacron, so I don't know how long you could actually fly like this.
Yep, the airflow across the striped, uneven surface is causing the duct tape to shudder and ripple.
Hope it doesn't shake apart.
But James is apparently having no trouble maintaining altitude or making controlled maneuvers, and there's no sign that duct tape is delaminating.
He's looking pretty stable right now.
And when flight time ticks over the 30-minute mark, the team is confident they can call the result.
This is awesome. This is one more confirmed myth for duct tape. Bear mauls a plane, you can fix it with duct tape and get it back in the air.
How cool is this? I mean, we have done a lot of things with duct tape, but never have we done something that is so important as keeping an aircraft in the air. This one is totally confirmed.
It worked!
That was great!
Thank you very much. That was awesome.
Fixing a plane with duct tape. Confirmed.
Stay away from bears. I'm starting to think that maybe duct tape can do absolutely anything.
And up next, the team is going to test that claim by stretching their high-flying heroics to the limit. They're making a whole plane out of duct tape. Adam and Jamie are excited that their first excavator clip was confirmed. You can, in fact, row a barge with a backhoe.
I think we made it, baby.
The next viral video they're testing also falls into the exuberant excavator category. Exuberantly dangerous, for one thing. But is it faked? There's only one way to find out.
Ha ha! That looks awesome. Have you ever wakeboarded before?
No.
Neither have I. Clearly, we're perfect to try this out.
Well, they're perfectly poised for a close encounter with an excavator, followed by a paramedic.
Well, I can't see any reason not to get started.
I'll get suited up.
I'll bring the excavator down.
Awesome.
With the clip as reference, Adam and Jamie have everything they need to attempt this dangerous, typically outrageous test.
This has got to be one of the strangest things that I've ever done.
The ingredients, an excavator, the perfect sized pond, and a few essential safety precautions.
Notice in the clip that at one point our skier swings way away from the excavator and then starts to move back towards it at a high rate of speed. Now, I obviously have some concerns about that, so we're going to do this thing incrementally. I think this is going to work. I'm going to go really slow and then a little faster and faster until we really get a good feel for what we're dealing with.
Perfect day for wakeboarding.
And then the skier has to have one thing to keep in mind, and that is to let go before it's too late. The excavator's got all sorts of hard, sharp edges on it, and it could be ugly.
So to avoid a face-first collision with the excavator, which really would make Adam ugly, he's got to remember just one thing. If things get out of control and he gets pulled in towards the excavator, let go.
I'm nervous about being close.
Which may sound like a simple precaution, but remember, Adam and Jamie have never wakeboarded before. Even under ideal circumstances, they'd be preoccupied with technique, standing up and balancing. And this is far from ideal. There are additional factors to focus on, like rotational circumference, speed of the spin, and height of the bucket. But all of that only comes into play if Adam manages to stand up.
All right, here we go. Excavator wakeboarding. You ready?
Go ahead and maybe start pulling me slowly.
All right, let's try that again. There's going to be a little bit of a learning curve here.
Learning curve is one phrase. Repeatedly falling with the uncoordinated, chaotic grace of a car crash is another. Question is, are Adam's falls a failure in technique, or is it just not possible to wakeboard behind an excavator?
This is hard.
Want me to try starting with the bucket up higher?
Hard to say.
Okay, I'm gonna raise the bucket.
Jamie may also be a novice wakeboarder, but he's an experienced water skier and has noticed the angle is too low. Adam has to crouch awkwardly forwards and downwards. Jamie's also noticed there's not enough tension on the rope. Adam needs to go faster, so they adjust.
Go ahead.
And those few feet and slightly faster spin speed makes all the difference. With Adam's new and improved body position, it's a completely different ballgame. It's not like he's suddenly become a champion wakeboarder, but his perseverance, the tweak in technique,
You're doing great.
and Jamie's careful control of the spin speed means that not only have they confirmed the myth, but the rest of the day's schedule is out the window.
One more time. Well, that might be the most fun I've had in a long time on this set. It was a little touch and go at the beginning, but once I figured out the physical mechanics of it, and I've never wakeboarded before, it's nothing but fun. Yeah! We could charge admission to this thing. Dude, I think that's a success. You want to try?
Sure. Adam was a little slow to get started, but once he got the hang of it, he did great. When I do it, well, I don't have any experience with wakeboarding either. I've water skied, but I'm going to see if I can go a little faster.
With the test result already in the bag, all that's left is a little in-house competition.
You gonna do it with the beret on?
Yeah.
Cool.
Jamie doesn't just want to go faster,
Come to Papa.
he wants to do it with style.
Oh yeah! is that? You want to go faster?
The moral of the story?
Dude, you win!
Never challenge the Heineman.
Oh! I did good! I think I'm gonna take a little nap now.
Well, that wraps it up with a frickin' bow as far as I'm concerned. Jamie turns out to be a champion wakeboarder where excavators are concerned.
Not just Jamie, both he and Adam successfully recreated the wakeboarding exploits in the viral video, which means it's results time.
So wakeboarding with an excavator, busted, plausible, or confirmed?
Well, clearly it's confirmed, but I'd like to add a fourth category for this one. Can we add pure and adulterated fun to confirmed?
Why, yes we can.
Excellent, let's get out of here.
Okay.
Confirmed, unadulterated fun it is. But be responsible, or you'll answer to the Heineman.
Water skiing off of one of these things looks like fun, doesn't it? Well, it's dangerous, so you shouldn't do it at home.
It turns out that in a bear-induced pinch, like this Alaskan anecdote, you can in fact fix your plane with duct tape.
Okay, so the myth is confirmed, but I'm kind of curious. Do you think we could make an entire plane out of duct tape?
I like it, but how do we do it safely? We could do it with radio control, but a full-size unmanned aircraft requires FAA certification, and that could take forever.
Well, there is one thing we could do, and that's get a pilot, not just anyone, but a skilled test pilot that's used to flying experimental airplanes. And let's face it doesn't get any more experimental than this, and then we'll see if the duct tape works.
Experimental is right. By replacing all of the aircraft's high-tech fuselage fabric, the team is taking duct tape to its aerodynamic limit.
Now, so far, we've been very successful at repairing our plane using duct tape and flying it, thus confirming our myth. But that was only one control surface and part of the fuselage. Now it's time to put it to the ultimate test. And that means ripping up and replacing every surface on this plane with duct tape. And to do that, we're going to use not only our bear claws, but also any sharp tool we can find in the shop.
However, if breaking it was fun, furious, and fast, fixing it is going to be anything but. It's as tough a challenge as Team Duct Tape has ever faced.
Now our plane is stripped, and it's time to cover it with duct tape. But we can't just go slapping it on here. I mean, it's not like just plugging a hole. This is a whole different ball game, and it's going to require some strategy.
Their first strategic decision will be weight management. The material they're replacing is equal in mass to just 5 rolls. So to retain the aircraft's balance and power-to-weight ratio, they'll want to use 5 rolls or less. But that is going to be very tricky.
With gravity laying down the law, this is a high-tension build in more ways than one. Now, if we don't use enough duct tape, or if our quick fix isn't solid enough, it's going to be just as disastrous as if we use too much.
And here's why.
So if we analyze the high-speed footage of our flight with the duct tape side, what we see are vibrations that look like ripples in water. Now, with any system that has vibration, what you could do is develop a resonance frequency. And if that happens, it could literally shake itself apart.
To avoid that, they'll need structural integrity and a smooth aerodynamic surface. Their solution is cross-hatched layering. With the base layer adding sufficient stiffness and the top layer running in the same direction as the airflow, their design is looking up. But with their 5-roll limit long gone, their prospects are going down.
When we ripped off the skin of the airplane and weighed it, it weighed 10 pounds, which equated to 5 rolls of duct tape. So far, we've burned through 10. So we have more than doubled the weight of our airplane already, and we're not even finished. But I mean, that's what you get when you're using duct tape and you want the strength and the smoothness, you're gonna be adding more weight. And when this is all said and done, this thing might not even get off the ground.
And as 10 rolls become 11, then 12, and ever upwards, the additional mass is becoming a serious problem. However, once the build is complete, it doesn't stop Tori from pretending to be a fighter pilot.
We finished our final duct tape plane. Now we tore off all of the covering and fixed it with 17 rolls of duct tape. That's pushing the weight limit, and this thing is dangerous enough on its own. So we're not just gonna throw our test pilot up into the air. We're gonna do a little wind tunnel testing first, with our own special kind of wind tunnel.
Now clearly, we're just in the parking lot. We're not in a wind tunnel like we're normally used to seeing at NASA. But the most important thing here is that we simulate the type of airspeed that this aircraft is going to experience. That's why we have this Hollywood wind machine. That ought to be enough.
Now the way we're gonna test this is we are gonna fire up the fan to the speeds that the airplane is gonna be moving at.
I don't know why I get this job. I can barely fly.
And then what we're gonna do is we are gonna watch the duct tape and see how it reacts to those wind speeds. See whether or not it's flapping or tearing.
All right, starting the fan.
I'll measure the wind speed.
Most importantly, we are seeing if the duct tape is gonna hold. Because let's face it, more important that we find out down here than it is up in the air.
Once the fan matches the airspeed of the aircraft,
50! Okay, come on!
Tori and Grant inspect every inch of the duct tape surface, looking for any aerodynamic compromises. And they're extremely happy with their handiwork.
That looks good!
So it's onwards and upwards.
We got up to a wind speed of 50, which is what the test pilot wants to take it up to. So I say we take it up in the air.
All right, let's see if it flies.
Can I fly? I've had a lot of practice just now.
Adam and Jamie are digging for dirt on Excavator viral videos. So far, they've come up clean.
Dude, you win!
And last up is this unlikely-looking feat of heavy machinery athleticism. It looks like a genuine video, but is there some sort of film fakery involved? Can a backhoe really back itself into the back of a truck?
What do you think of the clip?
I like the clip. I feel like it's real and like it's possibly doable, but I gotta tell you, I'm a little freaked out about trying it on our own.
What do you have in mind?
I'm feeling like we should bring in an expert, somebody who really knows their way around an excavator to teach us some of the tricks of the trade.
An excavator expert.
Exactly.
Bayside, Adam and Jamie roll up with the necessary heavy equipment and a tough test ahead.
Here's a conundrum. What if you've got one of these and you want to transport it using one of these? How do you get this into that with no other piece of equipment? According to this clip, it's totally possible.
Maybe, but it's certainly dangerous. And to even attempt it, you're going to need some coaching.
We've done a lot of crazy stuff with heavy machinery over the years, but what we're about to attempt is, well, it's in a league by itself. Jason Klapstein is a heavy machinery operator with mad skills when it comes to these excavators. He can practically breakdance with them, and he and his experience is what's going to keep us, hopefully, from dying when we attempt this. So which one's going to do this?
I don't know. Let's Rochambeau?
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Paper beats rock. I do it! Woo!
So it's an excited Adam.
Okay, get out of the way.
In the driver's seat. First up, he plumbs our expert resource for as much knowledge as he can. And then, in an intense hour-long planning discussion,
make sure that you're nice and square with the box edges.
Okay.
It's not designed to do this.
Jason and Adam
once you're 180 degrees,
work out every maneuver of their complicated, technical, and incredibly risky plan.
So if I do tip, the bucket hits the ground instead of me hitting the ground.
It's clear that the level of control and skill set required to attempt this is a huge step up for Adam. To pull it off, he's going to have to put in some practice, which is dangerous enough in itself.
Jamie and I have a lot of experience in devices like this. We've used them extensively on the show over the past decade, but our experience is of a particular kind, of doing discrete operations. Ho, 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 ho. Hey, this is scary. This operation requires several things to be happening at once. And if they don't, things can get very bad very quickly.
Pushing back?
No, this way.
So it is all about a super coordination between multiple moving parts.
Really?
There are a number of elements to think about at once. Coordinating the boom, the angle of the bucket, and keeping close control of the tracks will be tricky.
Just like that.
But Adam's ready, or as ready as he'll ever be.
Let's do this, people! I'm a little nervous. We are just about to step into the I really hope I'm able to make this work category.
Excavator loading itself into the back of a truck.
Starting out, aligning yourself with the back of the truck seems perfectly straightforward. Put your bucket in the back of the truck, start to lift yourself up. That's where the first problem starts to occur.
Oh! Adam should do fairly well with this attempt, but you know, he's a little bit of a mystery because on the one hand, he's got a fine touch, but then on the other hand, oh! Well, he's sort of twitchy. This is not exactly what you want if you're trying to climb on top of something like this truck with one of these machines.
Fasten your seatbelt and stow your tray table. The MythBusters are attempting a duct tape takeoff.
We're back at New Jerusalem Airport for the final experiment with our duct tape plane. And up to this point, we have played it very safe. We've only tested it on the ground with a giant fan, and we're ready to go. This is going to be the ultimate test.
For the ultimate test of their duct tape plane, that's right, a duct tape plane, the team made a call to the ultimate test flight Top Gun.
For our duct tape experiment, we're using test pilot Dave Moore. Now, he's flown over 40 prototype aircrafts. Those are airplanes that have never been flown before. I think that makes him the perfect person for this job. In fact, I think I hear him now.
Nice flyby. Now, here's Tori with the flight plan.
He's gonna start off slow. First, he's gonna taxi down the runway. Then, when he feels comfortable, he's actually gonna take it up, but only as high as he's willing to fall, which is 5 feet. This is the most dangerous test that we have ever subjected duct tape to. We have our fire department standing by. Let's hope we don't have to use them.
Make no mistake, this is a risky business. Even with a typically low-altitude test flight, a crash at over 50 miles an hour with no hard shell protection or roll cage could be disastrous.
All right. Down the runway.
Before Top Gun Dave attempts flight, he needs to thoroughly test the aircraft's responses while taxiing.
He's a test pilot. This is what he does. So he's feeling it out to see if it's actually airworthy.
And the early signs are anything but promising. As he taxis faster, gusting crosswinds become a real issue, and the plane looks unstable.
Looks like he's kind of wavering back and forth a bit.
Yeah, you know what? Adding all that duct tape has actually moved his center of gravity way back. He's tail heavy right now.
I don't know, he just shut off the engine. He may have changed his mind.
Clearly, something's not right.
Turn the engine off. What's going on?
Well, it's getting kind of gusty. I can't tell what the wind is doing and what the duct tape's doing, and I need to be sure which is which.
Flying a prototype is all about feedback and feel. The wind, peaking at 30 miles an hour when the plane is rated for just 12, is dangerous enough in itself. But more importantly, it's masking any feedback info from the aircraft's control surfaces.
Our test pilot started taxi down the runway. The tail was a little squirrely, but then he stopped. It looks like it's getting thrown around by the wind, and he needs to be able to tell if it's the duct tape or the wind that's making him move around. Because if it's the duct tape and we start to get a resonance, it could make him crash.
We don't want the airflow coming over the wing to peel it back. That'd be bad.
With the duct tape pressed firmly back into position, it's a race against time. The longer the tape is exposed to the sun, the more likely it is it'll unstick. But there's good news. With the wind easing, Dave resumes his tentative taxiing. And after one more earthbound run, the team gets the signal that Dave is ready to attempt the world's first duct tape liftoff.
This is it, he's going for it.
To see the tail off the ground.
That was indeed the maiden voyage of an aircraft made of the world's most useful sticky stuff.
Great job! Awesome!
With the wind still gusting over the 12 miles an hour limit, that's as high as Dave was prepared to go.
So our duct tape plane actually achieved flight. Now, granted, it wasn't a very long flight at not a very high altitude, but look, these planes, stock off the line with regular covering, no duct tape at all, would have a hard time flying in these gusty winds. I'm fully convinced that on a calmer day, Dave could have gotten a much longer flight at a higher altitude. The Wright brothers, their first flight, only 120 feet. We beat them.
Dave, you did it! You flew a duct tape plane and survived!
You betcha. And I'm still here.
How'd it do?
It was so much better than I expected. We're flying in gusty wind conditions that exceed what the airplane's recommended to fly in with normal fabric on it. And it's doing great. It was a heck of a ride, but it did great.
So, successful experiment?
Confirmed.
Yep, when confronted with a grisly, sticky situation, duct tape has once again exceeded all engineering expectations. Myth confirmed. The internet would have us believe you can heave a backhoe into the back of a truck. And Adam and Jamie are testing just that. But despite the obvious danger, Jamie has crunched the numbers and believes it is doable.
So what brings all this together and should make it possible is the fact that our excavator has tracks that have 80 inches of ground contact. Our truck has a bed that's 50 inches off the ground. And so if you lift one end of the excavator up and put it on the back of the truck and you do the geometry, you end up with an angle that's about 38 degrees. Now, given that this particular brand of excavator is rated to run at 45 degrees, if it has enough power to lift the other end, we're golden.
However, the proof is in the practice. And while Adam has practiced the pre-planned maneuvers, pulling them off in a 10-ton vehicle is an entirely different matter.
Perfect.
This qualifies as one of the spookier things that I've ever done on this show. And by spooky, I mean that tingling in your hands and your feet when you're doing things and at angles that just feel totally wrong for your body.
That's pretty steep.
Steep, but that was the easy part. The crew gets ready to dial 911 because now it starts to get really tricky.
Well, he's got the front end on the truck. Now he's got to lift the other end.
All right, so now I come up and over and down.
With the machine perched at a precarious angle,
Oh, hey, this is really not cool.
Adam has to precisely and smoothly lift the bucket and boom up and out of the truck. Any sudden movements could see the excavator topple sideways with Adam in the unprotected cabin.
All right, I gotta go slower.
He's all sideways. That's gotta feel really wrong.
Make no mistakes.
Steady.
Spinning 180 degrees while you're leaning at a 45-degree angle just feels plain wrong. It's not cool. My body is like,
Stop this. There you go. Now, can you pick yourself up at all?
The next terrifying step is to use the boom to lever the back of the tracks up and into the truck. All the while, Adam has to adjust the curl of the bucket to prevent it from slipping, which would cause him to topple.
Now add a little bit more lift.
All right.
He also has to monitor and adjust the height of the weighty blade to stay balanced.
Do you need to go to the bathroom or anything?
Oh, I've already gone to the bathroom.
And he has to retain smooth control over the movements of the boom.
Boom down, stick out.
But on the home stretch, Adam's confidence, just like the excavator, is reaching new heights.
Holy crap, it's working.
You're in. Looking good.
once I actually started to lift myself, things feel a little more like they're in my control.
But feeling like you're in control is when lapses of concentration happen.
Adam, remember which way is forward.
Oh, right. I gotta push that.
That's right. That can be a problem.
Thank you. I owe you one.
Adam, about to back into the truck, had forgotten he'd spun 180 degrees, and back is forward.
You're almost home free.
With that sorted, he eases into the truck and triumphantly completes the final step.
All right, here's the moment of truth. Bucket off the ground. Woo! I'm in.
That was scary.
Good job.
Jamie's right. It is a fantastic achievement, but an exuberant excavator achievement that should not be attempted at home.
Well, you did it.
Another video that wasn't faked. It's like we have a whole episode here of plausible and confirmed. Let's get out of here.
Okay.
On this shipwrecked episode of MythBusters,
Jamie and I attempt to survive on a deserted island with nothing but a pallet of duct tape.
that's right, it's duct tape versus wild in the most extraordinary survival challenge in history.
Well, it's been almost a full day without water. It's hard.
As Adam and Jamie take on Mother Nature using nothing but duct tape.
Ow. Back hurts, my stomach growls, and I'm thirsty.
Can they use it to collect water?
Why does everything have to be so difficult?
Can it stop them from starving?
Oh, no! You got away!
And will it be sink or swim in the ultimate great escape?
There we go.
How will this mythical material manage in this mother of all trials by tape?
Can two grown men get by on a deserted island without driving each other crazy?
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
That's disgusting.
and Jamie Heineman.
It's party time.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Together with Grant Imahara,
Get away from my car.
Carrie Byron,
You've seen your last martini, 003.
and Tori Belleci. They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. Pack your shades and sun hat because it's time to get cast as castaways.
What are you so happy about?
I'm happy because I'm excited, and I'm excited because it's finally time for Duct Tape Special number 3.
Well, hasn't let us down before. What do you have in mind?
I'm thinking it's time for us to do something truly spectacular. We've already done some amazing stuff. We sailed a boat on San Francisco Bay made of duct tape.
Yeehaw!
We traversed a 100-foot-long bridge made of duct tape.
I don't mind saying I'm hyperventilating. Ooh, I stuck you to the ceiling. Fun for the whole family.
Exactly. So what are we going to do that's better than that?
Well, let's break it down and make a list of exactly what duct tape is good for.
Okay.
You can fix things, but then you can also build stuff, like you can make rope or sheet goods out of it. In fact, you can use duct tape to rescue just about any situation.
Stop right there. Rescue.
What are you thinking?
Oh, this is so good. What if you were stranded on a deserted island and you could choose only one material to bring with you? What would it be?
Duct tape.
Exactly. So we strand ourselves on a deserted island and all we have to survive is duct tape and duct tape alone.
Well, it certainly would be the ultimate test for duct tape.
Exactly.
As any castaway will tell you, staying alive on a deserted island is no mean feat. But could duct tape be the survival solution? Could this multifaceted mythical material really come to the rescue and save your life?
So what's the plan?
Well, of course, first we'd have to be marooned, stranded. And then we'd have to do all the things that you need to do, like find food, water, shelter to survive using only duct tape. And then I imagine we'd have to get off the island using only duct tape.
Oh, what are we waiting for? Let's get shipwrecked.
Okay. To survive being marooned in the tropics, there are a series of life and death challenges that the MythBusters, like any castaways, simply have to overcome. The only difference for Adam and Jamie is that they have to overcome them using primarily duct tape. And to get started, there's two things they're going to need. First, a not quite deserted tropical island. And second...
So where's the duct tape come from?
I don't know. Maybe it washes up on the beach, like over there.
A conveniently inexhaustible supply of their favorite fabric.
With this much duct tape, we are set.
Yeah, we can build just about anything with this.
Totally.
So we got no food, we got no water, we got no shelter. We do have duct tape. Somehow that's going to help us get all those things.
All right, that is the last 7 rolls. What's the total?
That's about 225 rolls.
Wow.
I figure that's about 8 miles of duct tape.
Well, that ought to be enough. Where should we begin?
Well, I figure the first thing we ought to do is signal for help.
Fair enough. The fact is, if you do find yourself lost in the woods or on a deserted island, your odds of being found diminish the longer that you are gone. Therefore, one of your first and most primary tasks is to increase your ability to be detected by a search party.
Our plan is to use all this duct tape we've got to make a giant SOS signal. Hopefully somebody will see it if they're flying overhead and come rescue us.
Signaling for help is certainly an urgent challenge for any strandee.
Oh, the duct tape's acting like a sail.
But in the tropical heat, it's also a dangerous one.
It's hot and if it's windy and if you're moving around a lot trying to do stuff with no water, it gets pretty uncomfortable pretty quickly.
And pretty soon, it's already too uncomfortable for Adam to continue.
Hey, Jamie.
Yeah.
The sun is killing me. I'm gonna have to stop because otherwise I'm just gonna fry.
Okay.
Now the sun and I, we have always had an agreement to disagree. I don't like him and he doesn't like me. So if I'm gonna get any substantive work done, I'm gonna have to protect my head so that I can see and not get super sunburned. This wind is brutal.
So while Jamie struggles on with the SOS,
Unless you want sandpaper, duct tape and sand aren't really an ideal mix.
Adam turns MythBusters milliner.
Normally I don't go anywhere without my hat, but not surprisingly I don't have it today, so a duct tape hat it is.
It's a crucial change of course, since sunstroke could seriously hinder Adam's health.
That's the first part.
Sun exposure is actually something to be avoided. Not only can UV rays burn skin, but even mild exposure can cause dizziness, nausea, and fever, all of which could compromise our desert island survival.
Which is why Adam's sticky Stetson
Oh, this is great.
is a tangent worth taking.
All right, let's get back to work. I'm back.
Oh, nice hat.
Thank you.
With a reinvigorated Adam,
Yeah, we're talking.
it's not long before their giant sign looms large. And with other more pressing things on the agenda,
This is thirsty work.
the guys soon decide that their SOS is go, go, go.
Well, our SOS signal is nice and large, and most importantly, it doesn't look like it belongs here. It's unnatural, which is what you want to catch somebody's eye from a plane overhead. The only bad thing about the duct tape is that while it is slightly reflective, it's gray. It's not the most optimal thing to catch somebody's eye, but we're using what we have, so it'll have to do.
Covering 900 square feet and visible from 4 miles up, the giant duct tape SOS is a good start for our canny castaways. But task 2 is something that's much more do or die.
The next thing that is at the very top of our list is water. We need fresh water, and we need it soon. Ow. Fan's hot. That means that we've either got to make it or we got to find it.
Ow.
One way or another, we got to be able to move around well to do that. And that means that we need shoes.
Here's the thing. This ground is really not very friendly. And if I were to puncture my feet, I could get an infection, I could get a parasite that would put me way out of commission and compromise my survival significantly.
Despite being tremendously thirsty, making shoes is another safety-first approach.
This looks like a good spot.
After all, going lame before finding water would be very bad news indeed.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I am making each step up as I go along, hoping that eventually this will be a wearable pair of feet protectors. But quite honestly, I have no idea.
Now, a long time ago, people discovered that leather was a great thing to make shoes out of.
I'm going for a Roman sandal type thing.
Me too. As it happens, not long ago, in fact, we made a duct tape boat, and we found when we were working with it that it was very, very similar to leather. So that means that duct tape is actually a perfect material to make shoes out of.
I'm getting cautiously optimistic about these.
Because of the tape's leather-like qualities, the sandals take shape fast.
You remember what it used to be like in the summer when you got a new pair of sneakers?
You'd run really fast at the end of the lawn, and you'd run back again, and you'd go, Mom, look how fast these shoes corner.
This isn't going to be like that.
Despite the tremendous tropical heat, the guys cobble their way through rips, twists,
Look at that. Instant rope.
and turns.
Dude, check it out.
Those look great.
Until both sets of shoes are all set.
Well, my shoes are completed. They're light, they're comfy. I'm not sure exactly how well they're gonna hold up, but the best part about their being made of duct tape is it doesn't matter. They're infinitely repairable.
Meanwhile, Jimmy Heinemann's no Jimmy Choo, but his shoes are also good enough for this catwalk.
Well, there we go.
Those look great. You know what I am?
What?
I'm freaking thirsty.
Well, let's go get some water.
All right.
With their footwear finished, the guys can finally begin the hunt for some H2O.
Water's essential to life. A person can go for about 3 weeks without food, but they can go only about 3 days without water. Water is our #1 priority. There's got to be water around here somewhere.
I really hope so.
It's been hours since their last drink. And staying positive ain't easy.
Not only am I thirsty, I'm cranky.
But with dusk not far away, Adam at last thinks he's struck gold.
Oh, thank goodness.
Hold on there, cowboy. I wouldn't even touch that.
Why?
This is stagnant water. You'll get sick.
With how thirsty I am, we can't drink any of this?
Nah, we got to do it right.
Crap.
Look, when it comes to water, there are certain things that you just can't do. You can't drink salt water. You can't drink your own urine. You can't drink murky, still, stagnant water. If you do any of those things, you'll end up losing more water than you'll gain. That's all there is to it.
Jamie's right. The smell alone says that this water is not for drinking. And that's not the only bad news.
Dude, it's getting dark.
Yeah, I think we need to stop trying to find water and find a place to sleep instead.
Okay.
It's the survivors' worst case scenario. With the daylight fading, the guys have to abandon their search for water and instead make an emergency camp.
Let's just make some mats so we don't have to lay on the bare ground.
With no time to waste, their only option is to literally tape a duct tape sheet straight to the ground.
Well, with any luck, the bugs will get stuck on the adhesive instead of crawling on you.
It's not a good wrap to a not very good day.
There are days when I've been proud of the work that we've done on this show. Escaping from an underwater car.
I survived!
Firing the world's first hail rocket.
Done, brother.
Is not one of those days. I mean, we built some stuff, but we did not succeed at getting food. We definitely did not succeed at getting water, and consequently, I am both thirsty, famished, uncomfortable, and really tired. Honestly, I'm a little daunted about what tomorrow holds.
You know, there's an awful lot of footprints on this beach for it being a deserted island and all.
Best not to think about that. You could drive yourself crazy.
The MythBusters started their duct tape survival special with high hopes.
We're stranded on a deserted island with nothing but several miles of duct tape. I'm feeling pretty optimistic about our chances for survival.
And although day one didn't go according to plan,
I can't bring any of this? Crap.
they're beginning day two by trying to stay upbeat.
We might as well take this with us. Oh, that's nasty. Well, I suppose we could take the two of these we made and put them together and we'd have a nice mattress.
There's no doubt that they are in a sticky situation, but with shoes refitted,
Not pretty, but they get the job done.
Adam grabs some duct tape and sets off to try to find drinkable water.
Good walking stick.
This time he's heading in the opposite direction to yesterday's route.
Clearly these plants are all getting their water from somewhere. I just need to find it.
By following the lusher vegetation, he hopes to increase his chances of finding a water source. But it's still no walk in the park.
I've been walking around for a while, and I still haven't found any water. And what we have here is a classic catch-22. I need water, and I'm burning through a lot of it just to try and find water. If I don't find it soon, it's gonna be bad.
So let's hope Jamie can do better.
It's hot out here and I'm thirsty. I got water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Except I can make fresh water out of this salt water with the sun's help and some duct tape.
It may sound as though Jamie's been in the sun too long.
It's already getting moist.
But his freshwater from saltwater idea is rooted in reality.
I found water.
He's going to build a device called a solar still, which is considerably more complicated than finding salty water in a sandy hole.
A solar still uses the sun's rays and condensation to collect water.
And here's how. The hole I've dug is deep enough that it's wet with salt water. Now at the bottom I'll place a collection cup that I've made from duct tape. Then above the hole I'm going to put some clear plastic sheeting. The hot sun shines through that and evaporates the water from the sand, leaving the salt behind. The water vapor then condenses on the cool inside of the plastic surface and drips down into the cup as pure drinkable water.
That's the theory, at least. Let's see how well it works.
Well, having made his well,
that's a big wet hole,
and taped up a collection cup,
well, there it is. I guarantee it's waterproof.
All that's missing is the clear plastic overshoot. And for that, Jamie is bending the duct tape rules.
I'm making a duct tape spider web as a framework with which to hold together this stuff, shrink wrap. Now I know what you're saying, it's not duct tape, so why are we using it? Well, it did come on the duct tape pallet. I don't know what I'm gonna use this stuff for, but I bet you it's gonna come in real handy. And, you know, it's survival. We've got to use everything at our disposal. The thing is that all these little pieces don't really help us so much, but once they're held together into one big sheet, we're golden. There we go. Hopefully I didn't use more water making it than it'll make for me.
The last step is to carefully position the sheet over the hole.
There we go, that's the ticket.
And almost immediately, there are encouraging signs.
All that fog that you can already see forming on the underside of the plastic is what this is all about. It's picking up the moisture from the damp sand, which is evaporating, collecting on the plastic, and eventually those will form larger and larger droplets, which will run downhill into my collection container. Now we just have to wait.
And while we're waiting, it's back to our resident island savage.
I've got good news and bad news. The good news is my shoes are holding up well, and they're actually getting more comfortable the more I walk. The bad news is the water's a little harder to find than I thought it would be.
And worryingly for everyone, an hour later, and there's still no sign of a stream.
How much water do I need to find? A fair bit, actually. Jamie and I are going to need 2 to 3 liters of water each per day in order to survive.
And that's an amount that may also be beyond Jamie's solar still.
There's a lot of moisture collected on the surface of this thing. Let's see if any of it made it down into the receptacle.
It's the moment of truth. 2 hours cooking in the midday sun. What's the verdict?
Well, there it is. That's pure water, but that's like a quarter of a cup.
With less than 5% of their daily watery needs, it's a disappointing result.
Why does everything have to be so difficult?
But back at the rumble in the jungle, Adam's welling up with excitement.
It's fresh.
All right, water bottles. Half my task is done. I have found fresh water, no small feat, and that's really important for our survival. Now, I simply have to get it back. So I'm gonna build something to carry the water.
But in the middle of the bush,
beeping mosquitoes.
That's something that's not as easy as it sounds.
I would kill for a workbench right about now.
Adam's making a kind of tubular bottle that should hold about 10 pints of water, provided, of course, that it doesn't leak.
If I get a single wrinkle in this seam, it's a place where water can get out. Can't have that. Water's got to go from the pond into here, into here.
It's a painstaking operation, but eventually there's only one thing left to do.
Oh, 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 it's cold.
Fill it up.
Fill up, baby, come on. Please hold up.
First impressions are good.
It's working.
And second impressions are even better.
It seems to be holding. Awesome. I better get back to Jamie. I'll bet he's thirsty.
It's the most crucial survival challenge overcome. Thanks incredibly to duct tape shoes and a duct tape water vessel, Adam sourced a never-ending water supply. And that means things are finally looking up. Because for the time being at least, the MythBusters are not going to drop dead.
How did the solar still work?
Well, it worked, but I only got about a half a cup.
Well, I have some good news. How about 6 liters worth?
That's fantastic.
The hunt was worth it.
Oh, look at that.
Cheers! Oh, that's good.
You know what I'm ready for now?
What?
A nice, fat, juicy steak.
Time for food?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Without doubt, tropical islands can be the very epitome of paradise on Earth. Yet for the MythBusters, it's been more a case of paradise lost.
Save us.
But having finally quenched their thirst,
cheers!
Their duct tape survival is improving.
Well, now that we've got fresh water, it's time to figure out how to get food. Adam's going to tackle the land, and I'm going to tackle the sea.
In other words, it's time to stop starving. But Jamie's first sea scheme to build a duct tape fishing net
is not bad.
Ends with him literally tied up in knots.
I swear this is going to be doing permanent psychological damage to me.
With the hunger clock ticking, Jamie decides there's only one solution: spear fishing.
There we go.
And while Mother Nature does provide the main component,
give it up, tree. You're gonna lose.
Duct tape is an integral part.
I might be able to do something with that. There are 3 things that I can do with the duct tape to help make a spear. First, it'll allow me to attach and easily replace multiple points on the tip. Perfect. I dare say any little fish or critter wouldn't really want to get stuck by that. Then I can also use it to mark the balance point of the shaft, which will help with accuracy. There we go. And finally, the line on the end will help me retrieve it once I've thrown it. I'm gonna go catch me some fish.
Meanwhile, in the forest, Adam's on a wild chicken run. Literally.
I'm really hungry, and I saw some chickens out here. Wild chickens are good eating.
Perhaps overcome with hunger.
I think I see one right over there.
Adam first tries to catch one by simply chasing it.
Oh. Flies? Nobody told me chickens could fly.
Clearly, chasing them is a low percentage game. I'm gonna need to outsmart them and make some kind of trap. I'm thinking a snare.
Usually consisting of an anchored wire noose, snare traps are one of the simplest of all hunting tools. But can one made of woven duct tape really work?
Thank God I studied all that baton twirl. Now, the whole idea of the snare is that this loop sits unassumingly on the ground until a chicken walks by it, and then I yank it, and hopefully I catch a chicken by the leg. Now it's a waiting game.
And while Adam waits, let's cut to the chase with Jamie.
Well, what I've got to do is pretty straightforward. Spot a fish and spear it.
Like snaring a chicken, it sounds easy in theory.
Okay, fish. Hold still. Oh.
But in practice,
Yeah.
it's a beach.
Oh. I'm not leaving here without dinner.
On the plus side, though, the duct tape spear's holding up well.
I like my little string. Worked like a treat. Now if I can just get the fish to hold still. Just like fishing with a rod and reel, spearfishing is all about patience. It's not like they're gonna sit there like ducks and wait for you to spear them. You've gotta just hang out, wait for the right time, and then throw.
And there's no time like the present.
Ah! Yeah! It's about time.
At last, he's nailed it.
Oh, yeah, baby. Sushi for dinner.
It's a great result,
Sorry, little buddy, it's for a good cause. Yeah, I know.
especially because in the jungle, Adam's snare affair is a dud.
Damn it!
Consequently, he's been busy taping up Plan C.
Having been unable to coax a bird into my snare, I've changed direction, and I'm not actually building a duct tape spiderweb here. I'm building a net that'll lay across the forest floor, and when a chicken walks across it, I'll snatch him up, kind of like the Ewoks from Star Wars.
Aye, because if anyone knows about hunting in forests, it's the Ewoks.
Getting close. Now it's time to conceal it.
So surely this is a home run.
The net is concealed on the forest floor here. I'm hoping to chase a chicken through from this direction. And I can be as far back as 15 feet behind him. And I gotta just lean on this line, and all of these sidelines go up, along with the net, along with the chicken. And that's dinner.
Moments later, Adam carefully corrals some passing poultry into the danger zone. Until...
Hey! Oh, no! He got away! Hey! Squirted right out the side.
The force is strong with this one.
There he is, taunting me. Taunting me. He's like, in your face, MythBuster!
But a quick reset later, and Adam's soon on the prowl once more.
Oh! I got it! I got the chicken! Look! 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 My net! My net caught the chicken! How you doing there, buddy? We're gonna eat good tonight.
Ain't that the truth? With 2 food groups captured in one day, it's another tick for the talented tape. But before moving on to the next survival challenge, here's a quick word from our sponsor.
For those of you playing at home, I just want to be clear that this is in fact a wild chicken of Hawaii, and we did chase it, and we did catch it in my net. We are not, however, going to kill it, cook it, and eat it. The chicken you see us eating later in the episode, it was store-bought.
Food has featured in many an episode of MythBusters.
That is so wrong.
But rarely is it ever actually eaten.
Tenderizing steak with explosives.
But on day 3 of this duct tape survival special,
I got the chicken!
food is finally on the menu.
Yeah! Sushi for dinner.
Provided, of course, that the MythBusters can cook up.
It's time to do the most primordial of human inventions. It's time to build a fire. How is this gonna work? Jeez, I'm crow. Come on. It's gonna work by friction, specifically the friction between this piece of wood and a base piece of wood, created by what's called a friction bow. I have a duct tape string stretched on a piece of bamboo, and I will
roll it back and forth, which will cause this stick to spin very rapidly, hopefully creating enough friction to create an ember, which will be the germ of my fire.
The so-called bow drill is one of the most traditional ways to start a flame.
Oh, I don't want to get optimistic yet.
It's also one of the hardest.
Oh, no.
But Adam tries, and tries again, until at last his duct tape bow goes ballistic.
I got it, Jamie! I got it! It took for freaking ever.
And once the fire really takes hold,
Now we're cooking.
it's not long before dinner is served.
Not bad living here on the deserted island.
Yep, nothing beats home cooking.
Nope.
With food and fire now sorted, the real life and death hurdles have been cleared comfortably. But there's a lot more to taming an island paradise than that. And next, it's time to better their abode.
Let's just make some mats so we don't have to lay on the bare ground.
Where it's fair to say that there is room for improvement.
Ah, that's nasty.
So as a new day dawns, Adam's searching for some respectable real estate. And this'll do.
Ah! Look at that! It's beautiful. It's like a cathedral. This is the perfect place for us to set up a more permanent camp. Ah! I love it! One of the reasons this place is perfect is I can string a couple of hammocks. Hammocks are great, not just because they're comfy. Thank you. But in an unfamiliar place, you don't really want to sleep on the ground. You don't want to give yourself such easy access to things like, I don't know, centipedes and scorpions and other things I don't want to think about.
Adam, how come you used up all our good duct tape rope on those hammocks?
Jamie, stranded on a deserted island for weeks. I want to be comfortable when I sleep.
Oh, I don't really care how I sleep. I could sleep on a pile of rocks and millipedes. I wouldn't care.
All right, there goes nothing. Wow, this is seriously comfortable. Like, I'm not even kidding, for television comfortable.
As home renovations go, it's a solid start. But there's much more to this castaway crib than good hang time.
Oh, hello. I'm so glad you've stopped by. Welcome to Banyan Estates. Can I give you the grand tour? This is the master accommodations with the master bed and shelter and rain catcher all in one, with a nice foot mat so one can get in and out of bed without having to wear shoes. The guest accommodations are almost as nice, with the guest rain catcher and roof, along with extra rope for anything that needs rope. It's all the comforts of home on your own deserted island.
And if that weren't enough,
I can't tell you how good it is to sit after all this time.
Adam goes the extra MythBusters mile by building a table and chairs.
Now for the pieces.
And a chess set, which should give their duct tape camp that little bit of luxury.
Hey! Ah!
Meanwhile, Jamie's been taking an experimental tangent.
These waves make me wonder. Maybe I could make a surfboard out of duct tape.
Yep, with hunger and thirst no longer an issue, Jamie's decided to get gnarly.
So why surfing? Well, what's the point in surviving if you can't have any fun?
And fun in this case comes courtesy of some duct tape pontoons.
That's the last one.
Each stuffed with bamboo for support and reeds for buoyancy.
The surfboard came together pretty much the way that I had planned. It's 4 pontoons that are all taped together into one big thing that is the size and shape of a surfboard, more or less, and I imagine it'll work like one. Time to go surfing.
Despite the optimism, there is a major drawback.
Oh, look at that.
Jamie's never surfed in his life. And learning on a slightly leaky duct tape surfboard was never going to be plain sailing.
Go! Well, that was exhausting. But I'm actually kind of happy with it because I learned that while duct tape is okay at sealing things up, it's not perfect, and eventually stuff can leak. So if you build something that's relying on sealed pontoon, then you're screwed because you've got no ability to bail it or empty it out in any way, and it's going to sink. So failure as a surfboard, yes, but success as an experiment.
And that's not the only success, because physical exercise, along with mental stimulation,
I don't think we've ever actually played a game of chess together before.
are two very important goals for any survivalist.
There's a bug on my bishop.
It is actually a proven fact that keeping yourself mentally acute with something like a game of chess makes you better at problem solving. And surviving in a situation like this is all about problem solving.
Checkmate.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Which means another key target in the survival challenge has been met. And that leaves only one thing. Luckily, it's not this.
Well, we found water, we found food, we made shelter with duct tape. I'm pretty sure a couple of you are going to email me and ask me, why didn't you try wiping your butts with duct tape? And to that I say, really, give me a break. Give me a big fat freaking break. You want to try this? I certainly don't. Not part of this episode. It's a family show.
Although Adam and Jamie's island survival's not gone quite this well,
This is gonna be a cinch.
it has been a resounding success. Because after 4 days as duct tape castaways, they're physically fresh. Mentally focused.
Oh, crap. I'm in check.
And so well fed that a nosy chicken is more pet than picnic.
By the way, what's with the chicken?
Oh, well, that's Wilson. He's my new friend.
So with their short-term survival sorted, the MythBusters are dreaming of one final thing: escape.
We've made ourselves a nice little home on this island. Duct tape's provided us everything we need: food, fire, water. We can stay here as long as we like, but rescue's not coming. It's time for us to get ourselves off this island.
In other words, it's time to build a boat. So, cue the banyan tree brainstorm.
So, we gotta make a duct tape boat, and it's gotta be ocean-worthy for probably a significant distance. We're gonna have to have a couple weeks worth of water, a couple weeks worth of food.
Bailers.
Bailers, yeah.
It's gonna have to be pretty good size, like 20 feet or so.
What about a canoe design where we paddle it?
Yeah, a canoe design's pretty efficient, but if we do that, we're gonna have to make outriggers.
You mean like one of those pontoon things off to the side?
Yeah, for stability.
We'll make it all out of duct tape and bamboo.
It's light and it's strong.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Our boat design is pretty straightforward. It's basically going to be a canoe. It's going to be about 20 feet long. This should be plenty of room for both me and Jamie and all the provisions we're going to need for our ocean journey. The canoe will also have an outrigger for stability. Its frame will be made out of bamboo, and it's going to be skinned in several layers of duct tape.
Said like that, it sounds easy.
Bamboo! We could totally use this.
Yeah.
But this project will put all of their other island innovations firmly in the shade.
We're no strangers to building duct tape boats, but for the first one, we had steel and a welder to make the frame.
Ah, it's pretty.
Out here, all we've got is this stuff and duct tape. And that's a whole different kettle of fish. And so you kind of have to build your own work table, your own jig, because otherwise you end up with this stuff full of dirt and pine needles and everything's all sloppy. We can't have that, especially when we're talking about a waterproof boat.
So having jerry-rigged a jig
Perfect.
Adam and Jamie first focus on the canoe's bamboo mainframe, starting with the sides.
Look at that. That's already feeling like a boat. One in front, one in back, paddling.
Yeah, this is just wide enough to sit inside there.
Next, the guys turn their attention to the hull's base.
That's gonna be awesome.
Then they position a myriad of internal cross struts for maximum strength.
Ta-da!
Everything, of course, bound together with duct tape.
The degree to which the stickiness of duct tape precludes the need for knots is one of my favorite qualities of it.
Except that knots you can untie.
Yes, this is true.
With the rest of the structure time-lapsed into place,
rotate your boat.
The guys add tension to shape the frame, courtesy of a rock and a root.
There we go.
That's awesome.
The boat design we have here is basically a canoe. And that's fine if you're on a lake, but we're not. We're on the ocean, and we need a lot more stability so we don't tip over in the waves. Now, the traditional way of dealing with that is with an outrigger. And so that's what we're going to put on this.
The outrigger is like the canoe's baby brother. It too has a bamboo frame.
That ought to work.
And it too needs a duct tape skin.
We're gonna skin this boat once with the tape facing out. Attention to detail means the boat doesn't leak. Then we're gonna skin it again with the tape facing in. My fingers are raw from being stuck to tape repeatedly. Ow! This should give us a really secure, leathery duct tape skin. Hopefully keeps the water out and gets us home.
You know, Adam, I sure hope this works.
You and me both, man.
It's a time-consuming,
getting closer,
and somewhat painful process.
Ow. All this sticky stuff is giving me nightmares.
But after a full 6 hours, their rescue raft is as good as done.
Look at that!
I think this is going to work great.
That is really, really pretty. Well, a couple dozen rolls of duct tape, a couple 100 feet of bamboo, and some ingenuity. I am super pleased with how this boat has turned out. My fingers are raw from tearing so many thousands of pieces of tape, and I think it might just be seaworthy.
Ready to carry it out?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right.
Let's do it.
I'm pretty happy with our little boat. It's relatively light and strong between the bamboo and the duct tape, and yet this thing's over 20 feet. That's a big boat to be able to pick up.
Spinning.
And I think it's going to hold up fine.
The MythBusters' canoe confidence is high. But with sunset approaching,
that's it. Those are all our provisions.
Her maiden voyage will have to wait. The MythBusters' Duct Tape Island adventure has been eventful, to say the least.
Jamie and I, we've had our highs. Oh, I got the chicken! We've had our lows.
I'm thirsty, and I actually think I've got ants in my hair.
And now we've determined that it's time to go home. So, we've built ourselves a boat. We have provisioned it for at least a few weeks at sea, and soon, we're about to head out into the great blue yonder to try and get ourselves home.
And when Adam says they provisioned it for a few weeks, he's not exaggerating.
Here's what we're taking on our journey. We got rope, we got fishing line, we got bailers, oars, duct tape, we have tarps, we have water bags, food bags, and a fishing spear. That doesn't help us make it. We weren't meant to.
I think we're ready to put it in, huh?
Let's carry it down.
All right. At this point, we've found that duct tape is not a perfect solution for anything. But with some creativity and a pinch, it's an adequate solution for just about everything. Now, whether it'll hold up to a boat that has to get us across the ocean, there's only one way to find out. Okay. And it was the wave.
As the guys clamber in, It's worth highlighting that the one thing they don't have is a map.
It's working. Oh yeah, baby!
Like real castaways, they're simply going to paddle until they find land or sink.
Pontoon's looking great.
But with the breaking waves approaching, sinking is a very real possibility.
Oh no, here we go. Whoa! Hey! It took it.
There's another one coming. It's bigger.
Uh-oh. Dude! There we go.
There's no two ways about it. Those breakers were intense. Remember, we're sitting there in a canoe made of duct tape, paddling towards waves that are like 3 or 4 feet higher than the prow of our boat.
Yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
It was absolutely terrifying, but once we made it past, totally knew we had passed one of the worst hurdles we could, and the boat was going to be okay.
Adam's right. Having survived the breakers,
How does she look like she's holding up in the water?
the main question now
Looking great.
is whether the canoe will hold together long enough for them to find civilization.
While duct tape's adhesive qualities are impressive, there's two things that can cause it to become less sticky: water and heat.
Man, it is hot out here.
Given that we're in the ocean and it's about 90 degrees, we've got both in spades, but the only bailing I'm having to do so far
Adam, I've got a little water back here.
is because of water that's being splashed into the boat rather than any sort of leak.
Are you saying my oar technique sucks?
2 hours in, and with their island now a distant memory,
I can't see the shore anymore. We're in open water now.
Adam and Jamie start raiding their provisions. First, water.
You want some?
And then food. 3 hours in, and an impromptu fishing stop
There, right there.
is all that slowed them down.
I think you missed it. The boat is doing beautifully. Honestly, it's exceeding all possible expectations I could have had for its performance. The pontoon is staying afloat, not taking on more water than we can handle. We got enough supplies. All we got now is time.
And although that time is causing some boredom issues,
You know, Jamie, this one time in New York, you already told me that story. Sorry.
MythBusters' morale is high.
One of my favorite sandwiches is a BLT with avocado and aioli. For me, I'd say there's nothing like a good old hamburger. A really nice one.
As 3 hours becomes 4,
Dude, I'm gonna take a little break, okay?
and 4 becomes 5.
Let's just hope we're not paddling in circles.
Let's put this maritime masterpiece in context. Adam and Jamie's yesterday's news broke apart in 20 minutes. Their duct tape dinghy was on the water not much longer,
Try not to put your feet through the bottom.
and their Alcatraz escape raft was an accident waiting to happen.
I have no idea where we are.
But their duct tape canoe has now been in the open ocean for over half a day and is still going strong.
You know, dude, this boat, strongest case yet. The duct tape is a frickin' miracle material. Yeah, there's no underestimating the power of duct tape.
With neither a leak nor a tear, you might say it's been plain sailing. And what's more,
Dude, land! I see it.
at last, after close to 7 hours at sea, land looms large on the horizon.
Dude, we are saved. I think so.
And what that means is it's mission accomplished. Because their final challenge to build a seaworthy boat and escape their myth-worthy deserted island has, like all their other duct tape demands, been a total triumph.
I can't believe this boat actually held up. I know.
Our little duct tape boat did great. Held up through the breakers.
There we go.
It held up in the open water, and it held up in the sun.
Yeah.
And it did that despite only weighing about 100 pounds,
Okay, I'm out. I'm out.
which for a boat that size is incredibly lightweight. I've got to say, I'm pretty impressed with the duct tape right now.
Excellent. Well, duct tape's the stuff.
Not only did it help us survive on the island, it helped us get off the island, and ultimately, it helped us find civilization.
Adam, it's the same island.